company is not even here. I'm actually by myself this Christmas, and I thought I'd do a little bitty live stream because I'm sure I'm not the only person who's celebrating their Christmas on their own. It is currently 11:25 here in Colorado, where I'm at. So I'm in pajamas and sleeping clothes a little bit later in the day than probably a lot of you are, but I'm also completely by myself this Christmas. So who would I be dressing up for? Nobody. So I thought I'd do a little live stream because I figured maybe there's a couple of you out there who are also by yourself this Christmas, and we could kind of commiserate, say hi, and be a little temporary reprieve from the utter loneliness that has been 2020 and dealing with COVID and everything else. So I've got my festivity making pack here. I've got this, which doesn't look all that great, but these are Muddy Buddies. And if you're from the United States, you probably know what they are, but basically it's a box of cinnamon checks, because you can do it with plain rice checks, but I prefer to do it with cinnamon checks. It's cinnamon checks covered in a mixture of sunflower butter and hazelnut spread that I melted in the microwave, and I just poured the mixture of peanut butter. Well, it's not peanut butter, it's sunflower butter, because I don't buy peanut butter, but it's sunflower butter and hazelnut spread that's been melted together. Hey Meg, happy holidays. It's those two things mixed together, poured over cinnamon checks, and then tossed in powdered sugar. Merry Christmas, Jordan! And it's delicious, and you can actually make this vegan because they make vegan hazelnut spread if you're interested, and sunflower butter is vegan, cinnamon checks is vegan, powdered sugar is vegan, so you can make this vegan. But this is the holiday treat I made for myself because everybody's got to have holiday snacks, and to me, Muddy Buddies are a holiday snack. So I got that. I have some water. There's no vodka in it this time, which is amazing. And I have two presents that I made for myself. I didn't wrap them because I'm literally giving them to myself. It'd be stupid for me to wrap something I'm giving to myself. But I bought these earlier this month, and they came in, and I decided I'd wait until Christmas to open them because this is literally my only Christmas present. Ah, look, I got albums. I use Love Poem, and I have The Keys by Girls in the Park. I always want to call them by their initials, W or GWSN, but it's Girls in the Park. And this particular album I'm super excited about because it has one of my favorite songs of 2020, a song that I found out about far too late in 2020. It's got Tweaks on it. Now, Bazooka is a great song. My nose is itching because I have my door open to just kind of air out the apartment. And I didn't take any allergy medicine, so I swear I don't have corona. I'm not being gross. My nose is just itching the snot out of me. Anyway, Girls in the Park. We don't talk enough about them. They're an amazing group. Their discography is practically flawless, but they suffer from being a part of a really small company, and their videos oftentimes look very cheap. I don't think they do nearly as many music show performances as they need to kind of build themselves up. Also, 2020 was a terrible year for any act that wasn't already like a super big act. Like, I can't think of any small group from an independent label or like a smaller label who had a big breakout year this year. Now, if you know of somebody that I'm forgetting, please leave it in the comments, but I feel like every rookie that was like super talked about this year came from either a reality show or one of the bigger labels, like Starship, JYP, YG, SM, Big Hit, Big Hit subsidiaries, Cube. There weren't really any groups from small labels that really broke out. There weren't even a lot of groups from small labels who had sustained success this year. ATEEZ is probably the only one I could think of that had sustained success. And so for a group like GWSN to be in the position to where they've been out now for, I want to say it's been close to 3 years, a little over 2 years. This was a really tough year for them because the things that they would normally do to promote an album like this, going to university festivals, going to music shows, going to perform at military bases, maybe coming to KCON if they were able to get their stuff together to come, all of that disappeared this year. None of that was available for them. And so it was really, really tough. And what is probably their most solid outing to date, got lost in the shuffle, which really sucks because they really deserve. So this is, I believe, their fourth release, but I think this is their third mini because I think that the one before this was a full album. My memory may be wrong though. Don't count on me. I'm an old lady. But yeah, Bazooka. When Bazooka came out, I remember thinking, wow, Bazooka's a really great song. I'm so sorry, I keep itching my nose. I remember thinking Bazooka's a really great song. But for some reason, I did not listen to the rest of the album at that time. I don't know if it's because I was busy. I don't know if it's because I'm just a horrible person. But at that time, I was like, I just don't feel like checking out the album. So I didn't. And Mason swears up and down that he told me about Tweaks. I do not recall this conversation. I plead the fifth. Collusion, coercion, whatever it is to like not blame me for not knowing about the song earlier, wasn't my fault. Anyway, how I discovered Tweaks. There is a person on Twitter, and I think that their username is Justice for Glitter, I believe is their name. And they do these weird, well, I won't say weird. Weird is not the right word. Brilliant Mad Hatter remixes. So Justice for Glitter does stuff on Twitter that I wish I could do, but I just don't have the talent for. They take a song from one artist and they meld it with a song from another artist, and that is how they come up with these really crazy mixes. And actually one of their mixes, a few of their mixes have gotten super popular on Twitter. One of the ones that stands out in my mind is they did Dua Lipa's Levitating, and instead of having DaBaby's verse on it, they put on Meg Thee Stallion's verse on it. Meg Thee Stallion's verse from Fucking Around. It sounded flawless, seamless, wonderful. They've also done some really cool Blackpink mixes. They just do a lot of really cool stuff, but it's Justice for Glitter is the Twitter account if you ever want to follow them because their taste in music is immaculate. Well, the person who runs the account also has like Spotify playlists that they do. So they did like a city pop Spotify playlist, and they did like a house, K-pop house playlist, and they used to do like monthly playlists, but now they do themed playlists. And this was on, I think, the house playlist. Tweaks was. And the second I heard it, I was interested. Then after 5 seconds, I was like, yeah, I'm kind of hooked. And then by the time we got 1 minute, I'm like, why did I not know about this song? What happened? Who didn't tell me? I even got on Twitter right after. I'm like, why didn't no one tell me about this? This is one of the best songs ever. So if you could do me a favor, if you like View, Four Walls, if you like fun music, dancing music, please listen to Tweaks. It is such a good freaking song. It's Tweaks Heavy Cloud But No Rain is the full name of the song by GWSN. But it's really great, and I remember the year that GWSN came out, they were my Girl Rookies of the Year, and then it felt like the momentum for them just kind of fell out. And it wasn't even like the music got worse. The music, I think, actually stayed the same quality, if not getting better. I just think that they came out at a time when we were still very much preoccupied with reality show groups, and people just weren't checking for a girl group from a small label. So that's how we ended up in this conundrum now. And I really, really sincerely hope once the vaccine is more widely available and its efficacy has been proven, that it will make us all feel more comfortable, because I know that I personally don't have a problem with taking the vaccine. For me, I'm not making any decisions for you, I'm talking about me. I don't have a problem taking the vaccine, but I know there are people who are scared. And I think the only way to alleviate the fears of the people who are scared, good evening, good morning, Merry Christmas, Nan. The only way to alleviate the fears of people who are scared is they have to see the proven efficacy of the vaccine. Once that has happened, more people will want to get it, and then the world can kind of open up again. And I hope that once the world opens up again, they will reconsider promoting Tweaks, and maybe whatever their next project is, they'll find whoever produced Tweaks and make them do a whole project for them, because I love the sound, and they'll get the shine that they deserve. Or, maybe if life is is kind and justice prevails, they'll do another season of Queendom, but they'll do Road to Queendom, and they'll bring GWSN on that show so that people will learn about them and love them because they deserve. Anyway, I just took the plastic off this thing, and we're gonna see what inclusions we got, because there are not any. I'm not a unboxer like I used to be, where I'm like page by page. So there's not any way that you're going to get new information by watching this video, but you can at least see like what photo cards and stuff I got. So looking at the comment section, M Century says The Boys is probably the only smaller label group that really did well this year. They have a lot of that success to owe to Road to Kingdom. Road to Kingdom was so good to The Boys. The Boys always had my favorite performances from Road to Kingdom. Like, other people did okay here and there, but I knew that the game was over when The Boys did Taemin's Danger. I was like, okay, it's a wrap. It's done. The rest of y'all can go home now because they won. They won. Bye. Bye. See you later. Bye. Like, The Boys did that, and it's been working for them ever since. But all the guys that did Road to Kingdom did much better than they initially had been, except for maybe 2. But 2 debuted a little bit too early. But like, Road to Kingdom breathed new breath into Pentagon, in my opinion. Road to Kingdom had more people interested in Golden Child than they had been in a hot minute. So Road to Kingdom was very good to a lot of people, whether or not we want to acknowledge it or not. And it's so funny because like, after Road to Kingdom, and especially because Pentagon did not win, a lot of more established male groups were like, I don't want to do this show because I don't want to lose, and it seems like if the senior group's not going to win, this isn't going to be a good look for me. But I think once they started seeing some of those chart results, they were like, you know, this might not be a bad idea for us. And so, yeah, Road to Kingdom was a great idea. But yeah, The Boys is probably the only smaller group that had sustained momentum throughout 2020 despite COVID. Let's keep going. And 80s, like I said. Okay, so EVC says GWSN are amazing. Their music is top notch. JoJo World, Merry Christmas. Nan says she's never actually listened, or he or she, sorry, they have never actually listened to GWSN. If you have not, you can start with this mini album. You can start here. Like, you can go back and listen if you want to, but please start here because this is probably their best work. It really is. Merry Christmas for EVC. But I've seen their album on the Billboard article, Best K-Pop Albums of 2020, because it's true. I thought WJSN and GWSN were the same group for a while. Well, when you say the initials, it does sound the same. And I kind of wish that they wouldn't have given 2 names to all these groups. Like, I get that WGSN stands for Girls in the Park in, I'm assuming, Korean. And I know that WJSN also goes by, I totally forgot their name. Cosmic Girls. But that makes it very confusing for people. I'm not a big fan of groups that are named after initials. I prefer like an actual name. So it is what it is. Like even SNSD, I prefer calling them Girls' Generation, personally. Merry Christmas, Sarah! I love you! So yeah, the naming's not great. But if they get enough of a push in the future, people will know GWSN and they won't have to worry about that. All right, so, it's got it's pretty purple pink swirl here. I think that's really pretty. This is a very low key, not super standout photo book. I know I said that in a way that sounds as if I've never spoken English before. What I mean to say is that like, there's not a bunch of really bold colors in here, and the photography is printed in a matte format. So it's nothing that really hits you over the head. It's just really pretty and classy. Like, I really enjoy this photo book, the style of it. So this is what the first set of photos, kind of that look is, which I'm not a fan of this particular styling for everybody. Some of them look good. Some of them not so much. But that's not me talking shit about anybody. That's just me being fair. Because not every concept works for everyone. Red Velvet can tell you, Wendy has had some times in their concepts where it just seemed like the stylists hate her. So, some concepts work for some people, some don't. This concept works for her like a fucking dream. She looks so freaking good here. Does she not? Oh my gosh. You tell them to let you look like this all the time. This is a really good look for you. It very much is kind of like Joan Jett, 80s punk femme. I love it. I love it. I really, that's nice. Now see, this look just looks confused. This looks like a really nice girl who somebody told her pretend to be a bad girl. And so she threw on this weird ass shirt and belt combination like, I'm a bad girl now. And it's like, no girl, not at all. So that's not a good look for her. Next, this look is fine if this was a member of like a ITZY or like a more dancey style group. As it stands in this group, this look is Joan Jett and then this girl don't go together. This look. It's like, to be fair, she doesn't look bad. It just feels like it's not enough. Like the jewelry is too small to even make sense to go with this outfit. The outfit is very, very plain, even though it's supposed to look very kind of like wild girl style. The hair just looks like there was not enough effort put into the hair. And she's a beautiful girl. But I feel like if you're going to try to make her look like a raver chick, go all out. Give her the Soohyun treatment and really just go to town on the raver chick look instead of trying to like half-ass it. Now, I like this girl's look. I think this works perfect for her face. I don't like these boots, but that's the only thing about her particular look I don't really like. But again, her look doesn't go with everybody else. Nobody's looks go together. So it's this look right here. See, I don't like the chunky combat boots with this style of dress. But as you can see, like her makeup, her hair, the dress, they all go together really, really well. It's just the boots for some reason throw me off. She looks phenomenal. There's something about a blunt bang and a winged eye and a red lip that is classic beauty. There's so... think Momo from Twice, like go down the list of classic Asian beauty standards, and a blunt bang with a winged eye and a red lip, Park Bom, it never goes out of style. It always looks fantastic. So this is her look. Now it's a blunt bang, but as you can see, the wing is a lot softer. It's still a winged eye, but it's a really soft winged eye. And then like the red lip is also really soft coral instead of like a bright bold red, which goes really well with the fact that she's a very young girl. So it keeps the look very youthful, but at the same time, like I said, classic glam. And then she's wearing this kind of like, I don't know, like girl in a dance practice video outfit. So you've got the long sleeve halter top with the flannel tied around the waist. Classic look, very kind of like effortless, cool girl style. And the makeup, the hair, then the effortless cool girl costume, like this is a great look for her. That was really good. Now the awkward baby. You know, colored hair isn't for everybody. And sometimes you can be overdressed and it makes you look like you don't have enough confidence. I don't like this. I don't like this. This baby looks like this dress is uncomfortable. The hair color is not flattering to the style of makeup that they've chosen for her. And she just looks like she doesn't look like she feels comfortable. And I really hate that. I really, really hate that. I'm telling you, the blunt bangs is the look. The blunt bangs. Lisa's entire career is a blunt bang. And I'm not saying that to say she doesn't have other talents, but like when you think of Blackpink and you think of Lisa, no matter what's going on with the rest of the hair, the blunt bang is always there. It's always there. So like a blunt bang is just, it never goes out of style. It's always perfect. It's always perfect. And also Homegirl that we saw in the very beginning, she had a blunt bang. So Merry Christmas, Jessica. So yeah, when you look at all these girls together, definitely some hits and some misses, but they do not look like they're performing the same song. They do not look like they're in the same group. And I don't know why. Like this looks like somebody's teacher, like a really nice elementary school teacher. These two look like they are really cute, like college students, part of the LGBTQIA plus Coalition Alliance Club, and then like these three look like they don't know where the hell they are and what they're doing. That their friend said, "Let me dress you for a night out at the club." I'm like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Yeah, don't worry, it's gonna look great. You're gonna look great." So yeah, the looks just don't go together. So then there's a different look, which is the softer blue look. The soft blue looks actually look really great on everybody. Everybody looks good in the sportswear looks. So this is the sportswear look, which, as you can see, works out very well. I don't think anybody stands out as being bad looking at all. And because everybody's wearing at least one piece of kind of sportswear, well, except for one of them, it makes it to where it feels a lot more cohesive. And if they're not wearing sportswear, they're at least wearing a similar color. So yeah, it kind of all goes together. Again, what a fucking vibe she is. What a fucking vibe. She's styled so cute. Ugh, this is the look. Don't ever change. Don't ever change. Don't ever change. This, bitch, you're beautiful. You are absolutely beautiful. I aspire. All right, here we are back with sportswear. She's got on like a pair of denim shorts that have some tulle attached to them. You can't really see them too good in the photograph, so it's not something we really need to spend a lot of time talking about. But she's got on this t-shirt and this little heart necklace, and she's a cute girl. She's a cute girl. This is a cute look. I don't see anything offensive with this. This is fine. And then we have, I guess she's supposed to be sportswear because she's holding a tennis racket and she's got on kind of a tied tank top, but the skirt is wild because the skirt's got like all these open mouth hollering skulls on it. But I do like the gems they put under her eyes. This is really pretty. Like that eye treatment. You can't really see it as good in that picture. Maybe you can see it better in this one. No, you can't because my camera is fuzzy, so you can't tell. Okay, it's clearing up a little bit, but she's got like gems under both eyes. And it's a really nice soft look. I appreciate it. But overall, this look is okay. It's okay. Next, okay. At first, I'm like, this is not a sportswear look. But then this is like classic rich girl sportswear look. So this is like a tennis dress. But I guess she's supposed to be playing croquet. So yeah, it is a sportswear look, but it's a very kind of rich girl country club sportswear look. But she looks happy and she looks comfortable. Like, look at her face. She looks really, really adorable. So I'm here for it. That's a great look. Again, coming through with the fucking blunt bang. Merry Christmas, Sasha. Oh, man. What a look. What a look. Don't let go of it. Wear it for a little bit longer. I mean, you're a beautiful girl, but this is absolutely a look for you. Ugh. I love it. I love it. Everything about it. Okay, see? When they took her out of the leather and they put her in something that's not leather, she looks so much more comfortable. See, sometimes the clothes just don't fit you. Sometimes you have to be wearing something that you feel comfortable in order for your confidence to really shine. So, yeah. I really love this. And the rest of the photo book is some more pictures of all of them together. And then chapter 3 of this photo book is everybody in suits, which I'm not going to show you every picture of them in suits. Instead, I'm going to show you the group picture. By far the most cohesive look, the look I enjoy the most on the whole, even though the sportswear look was super duper cute. I dig it. I dig it a lot. A look. I enjoy it. So that's the majority of what was going on there with GWSN. By the way, does anyone else think that their title tracks don't do the album justice? I feel like in the past that their album tracks were as good as the title track, if not better. With this project, I still feel like Bazooka is a really strong title track. Nothing gets taken away from that. I just think that Tweaks is a perfect song. That's the difference. But also, this is the thing, and we don't talk about this enough. sometimes songs are not title tracks because they aren't radio friendly. Like there's certain songs in every group's discography that are like really great songs, but they're not turned into title tracks because they just don't play well on the radio. Either they're too slow, they're, too ballady for maybe the season that the album was released in, or maybe you want to listen to the whole song and the song is too long for traditional radio, or it's just a song that maybe doesn't have a really sharp line for a point dance. And that's the reason why we need to have a song that has a very sharp chorus distinction for the point dance. So there's a lot of factors as to why certain songs don't make title tracks. Like, I know as a person who loves Red Velvet, I have talked excessively about how brilliant Kingdom Come is. And Kingdom Come is not a title track. Like, it's a really great song. It may be my favorite Red Velvet song of all time. Like, I never get tired of that song. I can listen to it on repeat. It never gets old for me. But when I think of the song Kingdom Come, I feel like I wouldn't want to edit anything in that song to make it playable for radio. And I don't think in its current existence it would have been considered like a K-pop radio friendly song, even though it's a perfect song. And I think it's actually one of the few songs in Red Velvet's catalog that probably could have done really well in the US. But again, it's not a super exciting song. It's kind of a mid-tempo song, so it's not like a super dance-heavy rhythm, but it's also not really a ballad. So yeah, it's one of those songs that it just isn't made for radio, but it still has a lot of quality. And I think that's what happens with a lot of groups, is they make these amazing songs that just don't fit a radio format. Anyway, so hey, look at the standee I got. Yeah. Come through, daddy. I love it. I love it. So this is Mia, and she is so talented. If you ever go to their YouTube channel, because they have a YouTube channel, they don't upload as often as they used to, but they still have one. Mia is an artist. Like, she actually draws a lot of things, and she's a super talented artist. So definitely check her out. Super duper talented. Oh, and I got her photo card too. All right. Kablam, number 2. And a great look. A great look. It feels like a weird angle, but it's still a really great look. Because, like, it looks like her arms, like, to the side while she's taking the photo, like this. It's weird. It's weird. So, yeah, it's like, I don't know. It's weird. And it comes with stickers. So we have this set of stickers that came in the pack. And actually, I got 2. Are they supposed to come with 2, or did I just accidentally get 2? I might have accidentally got 2. Too bad it wasn't 2 photo cards. I've only ever gotten double photo cards in one album my entire time as a K-pop collector. And that was for a Monsta X album. I got 2 Hyungwon cards. Okay. And then there was this other set of stickers, which are these that are for the girls, all the girls in the group. Those are cute. I like those. And then we have one last photo card. This is the holographic card. And this is Soyoung. And it's because it's holographic, it doesn't show up very well on my camera, but it's a cute look for her. It's a cute look for her. So yeah, those were all the inclusions that came in my GWSN. I almost said WJSN. Anyway, these are all the inclusions that came in my Girls in the Park album, which is a great album. The keys, listen to it. Yes, this was my Christmas gift to myself. That and this, IU's Love Poem. It took me a while to buy this. It took me a while to buy this because I honestly didn't want to buy it. I didn't want to buy it. I appreciate IU as an artist. I always will. I think she's one of the best solo artists in all of K-pop. I feel like international fans love her in a way that not a lot of solos get from international fans. Yet and still, I feel like a lot of international fans don't know her as an artist. They know her as like a chart topper. let me explain that. So when IU had a song written with Suga from BTS, a lot of international fans were like, oh my gosh, IU is such a chart killer, and this is such a great collaboration, and queen of the charts. But I don't think a lot of those same people bought this album, bought Chatshire, bought Modern Times, bought Palette. So we know IU. We know IU and have known IU for a long time. Like, IU, the first introduction I had to her was Modern Times after I had watched Dream High. Dream High was my first introduction to IU. She played a character on the show who was an overweight girl going to a performing arts school, and she gets advice from her counselor on what kind of diet to do in order for her to be able to lose weight and have a possible music career / debut. And I liked her acting. I love the version of Genie that they do on Dream High. You can go on YouTube, type in Dream High Genie, and you'll be able to see the rendition. It's IU, Suzy, Taecyeon from 2PM, and Kim Soo-hyun, the actor. It's really, really cute. And if you watch the show, it's even more adorable because Taecyeon's singing the song to his friend, and the lyrics of Genie are like, I believe in your wish, I believe in your dreams. And his friend had just gotten home because he had failed the exam to get into law school. So Taecyeon goes to sing him a song to cheer him up, like, hey, I still believe in you. I still believe your dreams can come true. So it was a really cute moment. But that's how I met IU. And after watching Dream High, I was like, let's go back in the catalog and listen to some more stuff. And of course, Good Day comes up, The Red Shoes, all the things start coming up. And I'm like, this girl she's somebody. She's a little something different. She's a little something special. Also, I saw a cover of Minnie Riperton's Loving You that IU did, which was really, really good. But yeah, IU. She's such an amazing artist, and I don't think enough people internationally latch on to that. IU is not just known for being an actress. She's not just known for being a wonderful and incredibly talented singer, but she writes the vast majority of her discography. The vast majority of the albums she puts out are written by her. And there's not a lot of women in K-pop who get celebrated for their writing skills. And so I wish that more international fans would prop IU up for that, other than just being like, well, it's probably not a good idea for such and such to put out an album this week because IU's putting out an album this week and she's a chart killer. Instead of just acknowledging she's a chart killer, find out why. Because there's absolutely a reason. She's absolutely an important musician in Korea for a reason. And she's somebody that in another 20 years people will still be talking about. Okay, so this is the album, Love Poem. And I'm going to take off the dust jacket because there is a picture underneath the dust jacket. So this is the dust jacket here. And then when you open it up, it's a poster. I hate this. I don't hate it because I hate IU. I mean, this is a beautiful photograph. It really is gorgeous. But who's buying an album and then taking off the cover and pinning it to the wall? Who's doing that? No one. No one's doing that. I remember when New East tried to do it. I think GOT7 tried to do it. So many people, I think Sungkyu at one point did one like that. So many people do these dust jackets with these posters on the inside. Albums aren't cheap. I got both of these albums off of importcds.com, and they were fairly inexpensive. I want to say they were around $15 a piece, so it wasn't a lot of money that I spent. Even at $15, that makes this a $15 poster because I'm going to have to buy another copy in order to have a full, complete album that's not damaged once I've hung this on the wall. So yeah, that's too much money to spend just to be able to hang this on the wall. So I don't know why they chose to do that, but I don't like it. So inside, it's kind of like the dust jacket that you'd see on a book. So like the author's about page or something. I mean, I don't read Koreans. Like, I can read the characters, but I don't understand what I'm reading. So it could say something totally different, but it's what it looks like to me. And then over here, it's got what looks to be not necessarily. It looks like a schedule, but it more looks like it's the chronology. Oh my gosh, can't even talk. This looks like it's the chronology of her releases. So if you look at this, and you can't see it on camera, there's a bunch of dates over here, and then there's a bunch of album titles over here, but then there's like Korean characters with it, so it's very hard to like tell what it is. But yeah, like it says Lost and Found, Growing Up, Boo. So she lists the album, and then she lists the title track from the album. If there was more than one song that was released from the album, then she'll put that on there. This is really nice. This is actually really cool that like she uses this to like pay homage. Like, in case you were wondering why you're buying this album, it's because my pedigree is legendary. Look at the charts, bitch. I love it. I love it. I like it when women acknowledge their achievements, because we spend so much time downplaying our greatness. We really need to be propping ourselves up. It came with this. This is an envelope. I feel like there is some kind of a bookmark in here, because like there's like a little line in. You probably can't see it. There's like indentation. I'm so glad they didn't glue that down. I'm so glad, because I'm like, if I have to tear this thing open to get to whatever's inside of here, I'm going to be so mad. But luckily I don't, because it's coming out easy. So, ooh, look, I got a photo card. It's IU. So this is a photo card with her and her blue hair. And then on the back, this is really cute. It doesn't have a signature. It looks like a text conversation, like a chat conversation. That's really cool. I can't read it, so I don't know what it says. I'm so sorry. But I like that. And then here is the bookmark, which looks exactly like the poster inside of the dust jacket. And then that's the back of the bookmark. Again, if you want to see a better unboxing, just go to anyone's channel on YouTube other than mine, because there's other people that are doing way better unboxings than I could be doing. And then the album, it has one of those dreaded envelopes. It's glued to the album. It's not a big deal. It's always hard to get those things out. See, like I've got it open, but it's like the CD's not coming out, and it's too tight for me to fit my fingers in to try to pull it out. That's the reason why I don't really like that style, because it just makes it really hard to extract the CD itself. But at least you know the CD's not gonna fall out, you know. And then there's a bunch of pictures of her with her blue hair posing and looking beautiful. Wait a second, what's that? Oh, cool. So if you're reading through the photo book, there's a little ribbon so you can mark your place, or mark your place of your favorite photograph. So that's really, really nice. It's an IU album. I'm not going to act like there's so much to see. I feel like if you're going to buy IU albums based on photography, or because the photo book is good and not based on the music, you probably want to get IU's Modern Times album, because that album packaging is super beautiful, and also the photographs are just like gorgeous. Or Chatshire, because Chatshire has a really cute concept. It's almost like a fairy tale or like children's book style. So those would be the ones I would get just for like collection purposes. Palette's okay. Palette is big, which already makes it kind of awkward if you don't have a lot of space, because Palette's a pretty big packaging. It comes with like fake Polaroids, I think is what was in there. A whole bunch of those. If you're a person who likes collecting cards, there's a whole bunch of cards in the Palette packaging, but you get all the cards, so it's not like, I don't know. Some collectors like getting things because they're rare. If you just like having a bunch of things, then get Palette. But yeah, that's how I feel about IU's packaging. And then there is a deluxe packaging for IU's album. I believe it's the real album. I think there's a real one and a real two. You'll have to ask Alex, because Alex knows a lot better than me. But there's a deluxe packaging for real that I have, but mine is damaged. and it's really, really nice. But I have a damaged one, so I mean, I just got it to have the music. So Evie says, Love Poem was not her best work. It's too ballady, slow for me. I agree. That's why it took me a really long time to get this. I liked the song Blooming, but I waited quite a while to get this because the album itself was like just not my style. Oh, what is that? Sorry, I gotta take off my glasses to see. Oh, there's like a little flower. Yeah, it's a little flower on the bookmark. So you probably can't see it. It's probably not focusing, but there's a little flower at the end of the bookmark. That's really pretty. Nice touches. So yeah, this is not an album that I was in a rush to get, and I think that's the reason why it was still in stock and it wasn't super expensive, because some of IU's other stuff went out of stock very fast, especially like Modern Times. Modern Times got rare in a hurry. But it's still like IU. And IU does stuff depending on her mood. That's the other thing about IU. I generally like IU's voice, but I don't always like every song she does. But that's not because IU necessarily does bad songs. It's because IU decides what style she wants to do for her entire album, and that's what the album becomes. So like Palette was more of a pop album than she has done in recent years. Chatshire was more of an exploration of pop and Latin music, and Modern Times was definitely her and her vintage bag. So she's interesting. She's very interesting. Like whatever she happens to be like into at the time musically, that's what that album's gonna be. It's never about trends. I just never done an album like, this is what all the kids on TikTok are doing. That's never gonna be IU. Never gonna be IU. So, I forgot to show you something else I bought myself for Christmas. Hold on, right back. These Muddy Buddies are so delicious. I've never made them with the cinnamon checks before. The cinnamon checks are a revelation. They go so good with the sunflower butter and the chocolate. So there's like layers on this thing. So there's like the powdered sugar hits your tongue first. Then there's that layer of sunflower butter and chocolate from the hazelnut spread and the sunflower butter mixed together, which is rich and like creamy on your tongue and like just smooth. And then you get the sharpness of the cinnamon on the checks and then the crunch from the checks themselves. This is a really great snack. I'm really glad I made that. I wish you guys were here. I'd share with you. But let me go get my other things that I bought myself, which are not like super great stuff, but just I'm gonna share anyway. Talk amongst yourselves. Ew, back. Made it. Sorry. So I went to Hot Topic in our local mall. I went there a couple weeks ago and I bought myself two things. First thing I bought was this. It's a Koya mirror. As you can see, it's 50% off. The normal price of this thing is $17, so I ended up buying it for like $8.50 plus tax, so around $10. I got this one because I do like the BT21 stuff, even though I'm getting overwhelmed by the BT21 stuff, so I haven't bought as much of it in recent months / years. But I also bought it because I needed a mirror. So yeah, I bought this because I needed a mirror. I just opened this right now with you guys. I had not opened it before. This is what the mirror looks like. The mirror looks terrible. The mirror looks really gross. There's like a thing in the middle, but that's okay because that peeled off and now it's a nice clean mirror. So there you go. That's me. But yeah, it looked really bad just now when I peeled it off. But this Koya mirror was on sale, and I actually did need a mirror because I had a mirror that I had been using in my bathroom and I can't find it. And usually if I do my hair, I like to turn around and like look at the back of my hair just to make sure like I didn't miss anything. And so that's what I plan to use this for, is to be in my bathroom for me to check my hair. Because it was on sale, I don't feel the need to keep it in its packaging or keep it precious because it didn't cost me no money. Or at least no big money, I should say. It still cost like real money, but it didn't cost big money. And the other thing I actually got something that somebody already bought for me. So, someone has already bought me this keychain. And when I say someone, it's because I kind of can't remember if it was Jade or not. I think it was Jade. I think Jade had already bought me this keychain quite a while ago. This is the shiny keychain. It's an official keychain from SM. And you can see like the SM sticker and everything on here. But when I got it, I was like, great, I'm never going to use this thing because I didn't want to get it filthy. Like, I would have felt really bad getting something like this and being like, putting it on my purse or putting it on my keychain. And then as I'm throwing my keychain in my purse, I'm throwing my purse down on my desk. It starts to get dirty and raggedy. And then pretty soon I'm looking at throwing it away because it's all torn up. And it was a gift from somebody. So I feel really bad throwing it in the trash because I wore it out. So when I saw that this was on sale, I was like, you know what? I'm buying this. Because now I can wear it without worrying about it getting dirty and gross and it being a gift from somebody because I'll be using the cheap one that I bought for myself. And it was super cheap. It was $7. So that was a really good deal. So if you haven't been in Hot Topic recently to look at the K-pop things, go take a gander because they had a lot of like the SM official merchandise in the clearance section. Don't know what that says about SM's merch. Oh, also, they had a lot of BT21 stuff in the clearance section, but it was mostly everybody but Koya. Like, they had a set of earrings. It was a 7-pair set of earrings. So it was all of the BT21 character. No, it was an 8-piece because it also had Van. So it was an 8-piece BTS earring set, BT21 earring set, but the Koya earrings were missing. And it was on sale for like $10. I almost bought it, but I was like, the one that I want is gone, so why would I spend the money? But they had a whole bunch of the BT21 enamel pins in the clearance section. They had phone cases in the clearance section because, you know, the iPhone changes every year and phone cases don't always fit. So they had a lot of that in the clearance section. So if you are a person who's a fan of BT21, I absolutely recommend going to your local Hot Topic because a lot of their stuff is going on clearance or half off right now. They still got some stuff that's like full price, but they have a lot of stuff that's on sale. Also, they had a surprising range of K-pop shirts. They had Red Velvet K-pop shirts. They had Blackpink, Monsta X. I don't think they carry Big Bang anymore. They used to carry Big Bang shirts, but I think they quit carrying the Big Bang shirts. And they have BT21. They don't have BTS shirts, which was kind of odd. But, you know, it is what it is. But yeah, if you like Red Velvet, if you like Monsta X, if you like Blackpink, I think they had one Twice shirt maybe, but my memory's foggy on that one. But yeah, it was interesting. I was surprised to see that they've gotten more in store. But this is the keychain. So you can see it's based on the Story of Light series, and it says shiny since 2008. I don't know, just thinking about my boys makes me smile. And then it's got this dangly stuff. It's kind of like this faux naga hide. It's nice though. It's nice, but it's fake leather. And then this ring feels like it is, oh, it is metal. It felt like plastic, but it's metal. So that's cool. But yeah, key ring. So it's like got a lanyard part here, and then it's also got that. So that is the key ring I bought. So those are the other things I bought for myself. Since we're here, I should open something that somebody else sent to me. So Alex and I did an exchange recently. We exchanged our Blackpink. Girl, I couldn't even think of the word. It's not just the photo cards. I guess inclusions. We traded our Blackpink inclusions because he collects Jennie. I like Lisa. I don't necessarily collect Lisa, I just like Lisa. And so I sent him all of my Jenny stuff, and then he turned around and sent me his other people's stuff. So it's not just Lisa. I think it might be some Jisoo in here, maybe some Rosé. I can't recall, because this is a trade that we talked about when the Blackpink album came out, and we just completed that trade now. So, time to open this thing up. Also, there's a Christmas card there, which I have not opened yet. I will open that in a moment. I'm using my ceramic box cutter. These things are super cheap at Walmart. They're Westcott is the brand. But I bought this at Walmart, I want to say more than a year ago. And it has stayed sharp. It always works. Really, really like it. So, yeah. It was the Rosé card that he was sending me, and I was sending my Jenny postcard to him. So there she is. So pretty. I love this look. I remember when I saw this, I'm like, that pleather dress is saying something. That's a dress, girl. And this is Happy Holidays. So we open this up because the smaller cards should be in here. Okay, just looking at this is not funny. I mean, looking at this, it's not funny. What makes it funny is that the word Christmas is spelled wrong. It says Christmas wishes instead of Christmas wishes. That's hilarious to me. Ha! And I'm not usually a stickler for grammar. If you've seen any of my tweets, you know I'm always in a hurry with these thumbs. But somebody paid money to print these cards with a misspelling on them. That's funny. Thank you. So he's just saying thank you for trading with me. And then here is the Lisa card that I traded for my Jenny card. So it's really, really cute. I love that he did that. Everybody should do that. I don't know if you saw what he did. I'm sure I didn't show it right. Let me do this again so you guys can see what he did. Okay. So here is the hard sleeve, and then there's if you can see, there's a soft sleeve that the photo card is in. He took a piece of washi tape, or like flag. I guess this is not washi tape. This is like a flag. If you go to like the office supplies section of Walmart, they have flags for paperwork. He took a flag, cut off a piece. So to take it out of the hard sleeve, just pull on the pull tab. That is so clever, and just takes no effort, but takes all the effort to do. So yeah, this is the Lisa card. Cute, cute, cute. Well, it's one of several, because there's several cards for every girl in that particular release. I keep thinking I might go back and get one of the other versions, but I don't really want to. It's not because it's a bad album. It's just that I don't collect Blackpink at all. I only have one other Blackpink release. I have the Square Up release. That's the only one I have. Is it Square Up or Square One? It's Square Up, isn't it? That's the only other Blackpink album I have. I did not buy Kill This Love for me. I did buy it for Mason, but I didn't buy it for me. And I bought this last one because I really, really liked the song this time. Not Lovesick Girl. That wasn't the song that I liked. The song that I liked was How You Like That. I really, really... I think I might be the only person who liked that song, honestly. So let's talk about that for a second. I am not a Blink, but I like Blackpink. How can I not? I loved 2NE1. Why wouldn't I like Blackpink? Despite everything that YG has done to kind of make us forget who 2NE1 is, I have gotten past the point of me taking that anger out on girls, because it is not their fault. They work for a company. The company told them this is their image, this is their sound. That's what they're doing. Because that's really what K-pop is. That's what all industrial music is. Unless you're completely indie, you're not doing songs that you decide on. You're doing songs the label decides on, right? Or at least the label gets last approval before the song is released. So initially I was upset because everything that YG had ever said negative about 2NE1, he corrected in Blackpink. And it made me resentful for the fact that he couldn't see the beauty of these women. that he couldn't see that they were okay and they didn't need to be corrected. But over time, I have gotten to the point where I'm just like, you know what? These young women are doing the best they can with a situation that they didn't ask for, and they're very talented. So let's just be more kind. And that's what I've tried to do, and now I've been able to really enjoy Blackpink. But there's one thing about Blackpink that just I seem to miss. The songs that people enjoy the most from Blackpink are very rarely ever my favorite Blackpink songs. Like when I think about the songs that I like from Blackpink, other people are like, that song's okay, but I prefer A, B, C, and D. So like that first block of songs that they released was Whistle, Boombaya, Stay, and Playing with Fire. I think those were the first 4 songs. I may be wrong. I remember distinctly everybody thinking that Boombaya was that girl. I was a big Whistle stan. Like, I was like, of the 2 songs, Whistle is the one. And those of you who don't understand that, I guess we can't be friends. Then, when I think it was Stay and Playing with Fire, I may be saying it wrong, like I said, I can't recall. Again, Playing with Fire, I'm like, this is a different sound. This is something that doesn't feel like it's exactly a copy of To Anyone. I really, really dig this. A lot of people were like, no, Boombaya's still better. Then they came out with As If It's Your Last, and that song was everywhere. And everybody, this is the best song they've ever done. This is the song that cements their legacy. This is the song that made them icons. And I'm like, this song is okay. It's not a bad song. It's just that it's to me, it is a very dated song. And so I wasn't as fond of it. It sounded very much like an old Teddy track. It sounded like something that you would hear Teddy doing around maybe 2014 Big Bang. It sounded like something that Teddy wrote at the same time he was writing Happy with To Anyone. Like it sounded dated to me. So I didn't really care for that. Then Doo 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 came out, and I thought Doo 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 was okay, but I did not like the chorus. And everybody else was like, this is the most brilliant song. Again, legendary. Everyone's gonna love this. This is so great. And I was just like, that's all right. Then Kill This Love came out, and I was like, again, this is okay. But everybody else was like, Kill This Love, best point dance ever, best sounding song ever, the best To Anyone could never, Blackpink all day, every day. And I'm like, all right then, if that's what y'all think, that's what y'all think. But then, when it's time to do this new album, they come out with How You Like That, and I immediately are like, this is the one. This is what I've been waiting to hear from them. This is me. This song was them saying, we got you, Samantha. We heard that you wanted to hear more from us. Here you go. Combine that with the fact that Sour Candy had come out on Gaga's album. I'm like, okay, I don't know what Blackpink is trying to serve to me, but my mouth is open. My plate is empty. Feed me. Because I love Sour Candy. Sour Candy is such a good song, and I wish that they had put Sour Candy on their own album. And then How You Like That. That chorus is so memeable, and it's such a fucking earworm, and people were like on the fence, like, this is not as good as Kill This Love, this is not as cute as Doo Doo Doo. I'm like, but the use of English is so much better in this album. It's so much better. And like, people just don't give enough credit to How You Like That. You don't like that, da 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 da. Look at you now. Look, back in the old days when people used to actually care about commercials on television, and Old Spice used to do the commercials like, "Look at your man. Now look at me. Now look back at him. Now look at me." That's exactly what that moment reminded me of. I'm sure it was intentional, but it was just like, in this day and age when people are like just so snarky and bitchy online, that was such a moment that deserved to be a part of the internet Look at you, now look at me. Look at you, now look at me. Like, so great. So great. How you like that? Hey, hey. You gonna like that? What a great song. What a great song. But when it came out, people were like, that song's okay. That song's all right. And I'm like, are we not hearing the same thing? Are we not hearing the same thing? This song is great. Like, just the chorus is great. Then Ice Cream came out. According to Spotify, not according to my soul, according to Spotify, that was my most listened to song of 2020. Do you want to know how many times I listened to that song? A grand total of 5 times on Spotify. Because I listened to everything. I listened to all the things. Yes, I have heard Gaho's cover. He did like a rock cover of How You Like That. I didn't hate Ice Cream. Some people didn't like Ice Cream. I didn't hate Ice Cream. Ice Cream made me mad, but I didn't hate it. What made me mad about Ice Cream is that Ice Cream is a perfectly serviceable song. I thought that Jisoo sounded really good in the song. Lately, Jisoo's voice has really been doing things for me. She's like a perfect bridge between Jennie and Rose. Like, she fits that gap so well and brings that together. I hated the way they wrote Lisa's rhyme for that song. Hey, Taria, and Merry Christmas. The way that they wrote the rap, they made Lisa rhyme with Lisa. There's really not much more to say. Like, I guess I never notice on most Blackpink songs because Lisa alternates between Korean and English, and so when things rhyme or when she like breaks up the sentence structure, it doesn't really stand out as much in my mind. But the rap for Ice Cream was all in English from what I understand, or at least from my memory, because I try not to think about that song too much. Again, like I said, Spotify lies, it was not my most listened to song. But Mona Lisa Kinda Lisa, the rap didn't make a lot of sense. It sounded way too rushed and garbled through. It just didn't sound good. Lisa's voice sounded good. She always sounds good. But independent of everything else around it, Lisa's rap was just junk. Whoever wrote it, it was just junk. And it messed up what I thought was probably one of the best sounding moments of Selena Gomez's career, to be honest with you. Like, when I think about that song, what stands out to me about that song is how good Selena Gomez sounded in that song. And I'm not a Selena Gomez stan. I've always thought that Selena Gomez was a very smart girl because whenever she releases music, I'm always surprised that she has a musical career. Because she doesn't have a traditionally great voice. She has a very unique voice. She has a very textured voice. And somehow or another, she manages to pick songs that suit her voice that are totally different from the last song that she picked. Like, if other singers sang Selena Gomez's discography, they would be really, really famous. She picks songs that are so incredibly suited for her that you just don't see coming. You listen to it the first time, you're okay with it. And then after a while, you're like, this shit is stuck in my head. But anyway, Selena Gomez sounded great on Ice Cream. That was her song. Even though Blackpink was on that song, that was Selena Gomez's song, in my opinion. I enjoyed her moments better than anybody else on the entire song. Yes, Ariana and Victoria Monet, I believe, wrote part of Ice Cream. So it wasn't just Ari and Normani. Ooh, girl. That was shade. It wasn't just Ari and Victoria. It was them plus Teddy plus I think some other people as well. But yeah, Selena Gomez sounded amazing on Ice Cream. The other girls sounded okay on Ice Cream as well. But Lisa's rap is so incredibly distracting that I couldn't enjoy Ice Cream. And I listened to Ice Cream in the car probably 2 months ago. I think it's been 2 months. We were driving in the car at night, and Lisa's rap came on again, and I was just stunned by how belligerent it sounded. Like, it just didn't make any fucking sense. So after that, I'm like, okay, I love how you like that. I'm okay with ice cream cake in small doses. But neither of these are the title track. The title track is Lovesick Girls. Interesting. What will this be like? Will I love this? Lovesick Girls comes out to wide acclaim by the Blinks, by other fans. Like, this is a side of Blackpink we've never seen before, and Jisoo the actress, and oh my gosh, this song is just so great, and we've never heard any. I was sitting in the car listening to this song thinking, so this is where I get off. I'm at my bus stop. This is where I get off. Because Lovesick did not sound good to me. I did not like the first ballady song that Blackpink did, which again, I keep saying it's called Stay. I'm probably saying it wrong. But they did it right after Whistle and Boom Baya. And I remember hearing that song and thinking, I don't think this is a ballad group. I don't think this is a group that's good at ballads. I think they might be better for the dance tracks, for the fast songs. That might be better for them. Lovesick was a return to that. And I'm just like, y'all haven't improved enough to make this the thing. I'm not saying that you're bad at what you do. I'm just saying there needs to be more before this is what you do. Because it didn't, the vocals weren't strong enough, number one. The vocals were not strong enough. This was not a title track song. This was a B-side song at best. The only way this works as a title track is doing this song in a stadium. When everybody in the crowd is like, we are the Lovesick Girls. That's the only way that works. But yeah, I was just like, I don't know. I love Lisa. I think that Lisa is my favorite member of Blackpink. I used to think that my favorite member of Blackpink was Rosé at first, because I really, really dig Rosé's voice, and she used to do a lot of Korean variety appearance, like singing shows and stuff, and she would always show off her voice, and just was really, really good. But I think I like Lisa now. And I think what I like about Lisa is I like Lisa more as a personality than any of the other girls in the group. But Lisa might be the biggest asset and the biggest liability for Blackpink. And I don't say this to be mean to her or anything like that. It is because Lisa always has her Lisa moments in their song. And I feel like her Lisa moments work best on their more danceable, poppy, mainstream, big, bold production songs. Like, you know, when you've got like a really strong instrumental and a really strong repetitive chorus, and then here comes Lisa, boom, kick in the door, then it works. A song like Lovesick, it almost feels like she has no place. Like, this is a group where they have one member too many during those times. And I posted a Christmas medley that Blackpink had done in one of their concerts. I posted it on Twitter. And Lisa's singing voice is fine. It's not anything she should be embarrassed about or anything that is not appropriate. It's just fine. And for better or for worse, the other three girls in Blackpink, their singing voices are better than fine. You know, like I said, I have grown to appreciate Jisoo's voice. Jisoo has a kind of a husk, a kind of a smoke to her voice that really does stand out. The more you listen to them and the more you see which parts are hers, you're like, nobody else in this group sounds like this. You belong here. You are that bridge. Rosé, her vocal cords are going to be fucked up in 10 years because she has so many like cracking moments. But yeah, she is something else, unique, special, taste. Jennie as a singer reminds me a lot of CL. And I'm sure that's on purpose because she grew up at YG and she was the star trainee. Like, a lot back when G Dragon was doing fucking not even was it Coup d'etat? No. I think on the One of a Kind album, because it was the Kiseki song. They had Jenny on that, or in the video. She wasn't on the song. Her first appearance on a G Dragon project, I believe, was in Coup d'etat, but she appeared in G Dragon's video for Kiseki. Anywhoots, she has always been the star pupil at YG. They've always loved her best. She's always been their fave. Why wouldn't she grow up sounding like CL? Like, she does sound like herself, but when she sings, her singing voice reminds me very much of CL's singing voice, which I actually adore CL's singing voice. Of the last releases that CL has done, I think that the song 5 Star is the best. If you've not heard CL's 5 Star, what I recommend, wait till the nighttime, get yourself in a very relaxed mood. If you like to drink a little, if you like to smoke a little, or if you just like to, curl up with a warm pizza, whatever your mood is, wait till nighttime, put the lights down low, listen to 5 Star. Mind-blowing. So good. Such a great, like, laid-back R&B jam. All that being said, I do prefer 5 Star to Hua. I don't want to talk bad about CL right now, so we won't do that. All that being said, I like Jenny's voice, but because I feel like Jenny went to the CL school of singing, it almost makes her voice sound like she's not actually singing. It almost feels like she's like somewhat sing rapping, because that's what CL does in a lot of ways in a lot of her music. She like kind of sing raps her songs, and it almost sounds like talking while singing. Like it's very Drake. That's the best way I could put it. If you listen to Drake sing, Drake does not have a singer's voice. He's not going to be your next Chris Brown, Usher, Trey Songz. I mentioned those names for their voices, not for their characters. Drake sings songs, but his singing voice is not the kind of singing voice where you're like, oh wow, he's such an amazing singer. Jenny is very much in that school. It's like, I can sing passively, but my singing voice doesn't sound very dissimilar to my rap voice, and my rap style is kind of a talking rap style, so it kind of all bleeds together. So I think the question of, do I prefer Jenny as a rapper or a singer? I don't feel like it's easy to make that distinction to me, because they feel very similar animals. They feel like they're very much cut from the same cloth. But then there's Lisa, like I said. And Lisa is just so much the rapper that it makes me feel bad for her, because if they don't give the group the right kind of song, it just seems like Lisa doesn't have a place. So if I were Lisa, if I was giving homegirl advice that she was going to take, you're an amazing dancer. You will have a career forever as long as you don't do anything wildly inappropriate, or you're not hit with like a massive scandal. If none of those two things happen to you, you will have a career forever, because Thailand has already decided you are their favorite girl. With all that being said, add vocal lessons to your arsenal, and don't let YG pick your vocal coach, because they'll pick somebody who will ruin your voice, because YG doesn't care about people's voices, i.e. Park Bom. They practically ruined her vocal cords by not training her appropriately. I recommend finding a vocal coach outside of the YG system to just sit with you and analyze your voice, play with your voice, do some different things, maybe work with some different pitch and some different scale, and kind of see where your voice is the most comfortable, where it's the most in the pocket. Also, like, what texture your singing voice should have, what sounds the most comfortable, and also has the most unique aspect to it about your singing voice, and then just start honing in on that. Because you can't, in my opinion, you can't be a good rapper if you don't have a sense of rhythm, if you don't have an ear for sound, because you have to be able to ride the beat. And I feel like Lisa has the ability to ride the beat. She has the ability to inflect her voice with the right kind of things at the right kind of time. So obviously the talent is there. She knows what she sounds like, and she works very well in how she sounds as a rapper. So I really do think that if she could just find somebody to work with her singing voice and kind of figure out like what's the most unique thing about your singing voice, what tone is the most valuable for your singing voice, where can we make it to where you become an indispensable part of these other three voices, so that you now have a place not just at the rap section and not just at the chorus, but you have a place in the verses. And I think that that would be the best move for her. Not only would it be the best move for her in terms of just like already equipping herself with more ammo in her talent bag, but also when she leaves YG, which I'm hoping that she'll do in the next 5 years, when she leaves YG, she will be that much more powerful as a solo idol. So yeah, I hope that Lisa, in your downtime, work on your voice, because the raw material is there. You just need somebody to help you refine that raw material. Let's see here. How do you like Kai's singing voice? I like Kai's album. Let's just start right there. Kai's singing voice, I had never really paid much attention to until Kai's solo. Kai has been singing this whole time. He's been singing on EXO records. He's been singing in concert whenever Kyungsoo can't show up to the concert, Kai sings his parts, which I didn't know that until very recently, and I'm like, oh wow, that's an inspired choice, because to me, Kyungsoo is the best voice in EXO. But anyway, Kai's singing voice took me by surprise, because if you've ever heard Kai speak, he has a naturally deep speaking voice. His singing voice is a lot higher. I don't know. It's just weird hearing those sounds come out of his mouth. I'm just like, what? Okay. But he's also an SM artist. And SM, unlike YG, doesn't try to ruin their artists' voices before they reach retirement age. I know it sounds like I'm dunking on YG. I am. But it's the truth. YG spends a lot of time ruining his artists just to eke out whatever he needs in that very moment, and once he's done using them, he discards them like so many leftovers. YG artists are basically citrus products to him. He squeezes all the juice, and once he's gotten every bit of moisture out of it, all that's left is the pulp and the peel, and he just tosses that out. SM tends to hire vocal trainers that allow for sustained singing careers. Like, people don't leave SM with ruined voices, if you notice. People don't leave SM with careers either, but I digress. So SM has been training Kai how to sing. That's the reason why he performs in Kyungsoo's place at concerts, because this whole time SM has been continuing to have him do vocal coaching. And so, while Kai's voice is not my favorite kind of voice, it's a good voice. And it's a very pleasant album. I was actually mad when I heard Kai's album, to be honest with you. Let me tell you why I was mad. Those Muddy Buddies are so good. I was mad at Kai's solo album because Taemin's Act 2 had come out before Kai's solo album came out. And I've made no secret about it on my channel. I do not like Act 2. Act 1 is brilliant. I talked about Act 1 as if I had given birth to that baby myself. Act 2, I really didn't talk about it as much because I didn't really like it. I didn't really like it at all. So I heard Kai's album. Kai's album sounds like all of the songs that Taemin rejected in order for him to get to Act 2. And they're all really good songs. There's not a single song on Kai's album that you could listen to and not imagine Taemin's voice floating over the top of it. And it made me furious. Furious. Because when Taemin talks about his albums, he had an interview that he did with an American magazine. I can't remember which one, where he talked about how like SM has books of songs. So SM goes to a songwriter that they like and like, hey, I like your catalog. I'm gonna buy 20 songs from you. Songs you've already made. I'm going to buy 20 songs from you. And I am licensing these songs for the Asian market. So you can still sell that song to an American artist. You can still sell that song to a Chinese artist, but for the, or not Chinese, but an African artist, but for the Asian market, for China, Japan, for Korea, that song belongs to me. So Taemin did an interview where he talked about going through the SM book of songs and picking out songs for his albums. In recent years, Taemin has gotten to the point where he can now ask people to write songs for him. And some of the people that he's collaborated with and has done successfully with before, he asked them to write songs for him. But that book is there. And Kai, for his first time out, probably got that book and said, you know what? I like this one. You know what else I like this one too? You said Taemin doesn't want these. He's not gonna do a Japanese album with these, right? No, so he doesn't want these at all. Okay, cool. Well, I'll take these 6 right here. That's the one I'll take. That's what it felt like, and I'm so mad because they're so good. Kai's album is so good. Even if you don't like Kai's voice, you have to appreciate the production on his album. The actual songs themselves are good sounding songs, even if Kai's voice is not your favorite voice. And I'm just so mad because those could have all been Taemin's, but he chose Act 2 instead. And it has caused a huge rift in the Shawwell community because, I mean, I make a point not to criticize SHINee on Twitter. The reason I make it a point not to criticize SHINee on Twitter as opposed to YouTube is because on YouTube, whenever I have a critique, I have more characters to work with and I try to make it constructive criticism. But with Twitter, you're kind of you're confined to this in terms of what you're allowed to say. And if you say something too spicy, you don't get the chance to really explain. And even if you do get the chance to explain in a follow-up tweet, people are like, well, you should have said that in your first tweet. Like, well, I don't have enough room to say that in my first tweet. So I think there are a lot of Shawwells who liked Act 1 more than Act 2, but because IDA did better on the charts, we kept our mouths shut. And so I didn't say anything when I saw my timeline saying, Act 2 is brilliant. The songs are so beautiful. Oh my gosh, the best concept. Instead, I liked those comments who were like, justice for Criminal. Homegirl was robbed. Because like the views that IDA got compared to Criminal and like just the chart position. Act 2 deserved what it got, but Act 1 deserved way more. I'm still bitter about that. Here we are at the end of the year. I'm still bitter about it. But it is what it is, and we go on. Okay, Yeah. I don't think it's bigger than Move. I mean, in terms of like, I think chart position, yes, and like views, yes. But Move is also a movement. You know what else? Let's also talk about that too. Move, SM, don't do this no more because it's obvious that it dilutes views. Move had 3 music videos when it came out. It had like the regular one, it had like a dance performance, and they had like a duo performance. So Move had 3 music videos. Both Criminal and Idea only had 1 music video each. I think they had like dance practice maybe, but they didn't have that. And so when you look at Move, its numbers look shitty. But if you pull all the numbers together, it has okay numbers. But whenever companies do that, whenever you release a music video and then a second and a third music video, you totally dilute the numbers for the first music video. Don't do that no more. Just do 1 video. Just do 1 video because that's what works. So Lixbrick says, whoa, ID has 44 million versus 19 for Criminal. I know, right? The injustice. The injustice. I don't think they did it for Criminal, so that's probably also a reason for a view difference. Absolutely. So that's why I say, like, companies don't do that anymore. Big Hit, I'm also talking to you too, because I don't I get that Dynamite is huge and you want to profit off the Dynamite because it's so huge. But more people will go to the original video to watch it if you don't make the Christmas version and the Big Hit Family of Artists version and the Singing with Fans version. If you make everybody concentrate their views on the one video, it is faster to get it up there. So let's just not do multiple, or like just call shit dance practice or whatever else. But making all these different versions, just, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. Not only that, but like, okay, if you notice, YG does one video for Blackpink. That's it. You don't get no remix. You don't nothing. If did it do is the song, the video, the MV. That is what you're gonna get. You're not gonna get anything else. And the fans mob that video and they push those views up. And that's the reason why Blackpink is continuously breaking their own records, because the fans are able to coalesce around one particular version. Meanwhile, armies are like, okay, first we need to get the kinetic version doing this, and then we need to get the dance version doing that, and then we need to get the storyline version doing that. Everybody's going in different directions because there's 5 versions of all of these videos. Just do the one. Do the one, let it break records. Then you can put out, like, as a special thing for the fans, go to Weverse and see this other version. Go to whatever other thing we're trying to spend money on and watch this other version. Instead of always putting it to where the 2 videos for the same freaking song have to compete against each other for dominance in views. So that's what it does. That's exactly what it does. It splits up the views. That's what it does. Okay, so Hansueño and Lixbrick says, can we talk about Dynamite? I really never liked it, especially compared to On and Black Swan. And Lixbrick says, I'm so tired of hearing Dynamite. In my household, we are divided. I'm just getting my water. I've been talking for a while. I'm kind of thirsty. In my household, we are divided. I'm not a big fan of Dynamite. I don't think it's a terrible song, but it is very much a TikTok song, which I think was a brilliant move on the part of Big Hit. Like, how smart. I've been telling you to do this forever, but yes, it is a TikTok song. I get really sick of TikTok songs. I used to love Say So. Now I'm kind of like, I'm fine. I'm fine. So Dynamite's not my fave. But Stephanie, on the other hand, Stephanie loves Dynamite. Cup of Milk, Let's Rock and Roll. That's her jam. That's her jam. I don't know why. I think she likes to just torture me. Anyway, it has a niche. It has a niche. And because it has a niche, I don't feel like it's a bad song. I feel like it served a very specific purpose. It did what it was supposed to do, and therefore it's getting the results it was intended to get. But I feel like Black Swan was a better song in terms of being a song that sounded more like music that BTS would have made independent of seeking international success. I didn't think On was a great song, to be quite honest with you. On was an okay song. It sounds like the type of song that would be amazing in concert. That, like that part in concert is going to be goosebump inducing. Black Swan was just a cool ass song. Like, it was a song that you heard and you're like, hey. Hey, you know? Uh, but it's been a long time for me since I've heard a BTS project that I felt sounded like anything that they came out with prior to Blood, Sweat, Tears. And I absolutely realize that artists can't stay in one place. I honestly get that when artists don't grow, their audience diminishes. They become a relic of the moment, that they don't see growth just as artists. But the move that BTS has made in recent years, while has been great for the bottom line and the pocketbooks of the boys, and I still like them as artists, and I still think Namjoon has one of the most unique rap voices in K-pop, and I still think that Suga is probably the best rapper in the group, even though RM's my favorite, but Suga to me, he just seems like he's the most elastic. Like he just seems like he was made to rap. Um, Once it became obvious to Big Hit that international things were afoot, it began to feel like the music for BTS became more corporatized. And I don't like that for them, because the thing that made the fans want to support BTS and to buy their albums and to, tell people on social media about them was like, we have these boys doing all this stuff in house, and they're working with in house producers, and they're writing all these lyrics, and, like they're really baking it up from scratch. And this is their unique, authentic voice. And Dynamite is the exact opposite of that in every fucking way. In every fucking way. Dynamite is a corporate song. It wasn't even written by any of the boys. It was a song that was hand delivered to them. They liked it. RM says he tried to write lyrics to it and he couldn't really get anything to go with it, probably because it wasn't his music, and it's really hard to match lyrics to something that is not yours to begin with. And they decided to, like, we'll just sing it as it is. The song that was delivered to us like this on a golden platter, we'll just do it the way it was delivered. And it is terrifying to me as a fan that Dynamite got so big, because it makes it feel like now BTS can just do music by the numbers. The Life Goes On album, B, I did my video talking about how I had problems with the way that thing was marketed. And recently I went to, I want to say that the website is like BTS-B.com US, something like that. I don't remember what it is. There is a website that is the official website for BTS's US releases in physical, and it's not the Weverse shop, it's another shop. They were the ones who did the vinyl printing for Dynamite and the vinyl printing for Life Goes On, and you can buy the B album from that website, and the website is run by a company called The Orchard. I've talked about them before in a video. Anyway, this website sells the B album, and I thought I was crazy when the B album came out. I really thought I was crazy, because when it came up for pre-order, the night it came up for pre-order, I ordered 2 copies of it because it said limited deluxe edition. And maybe I'm just a stupid person, but when somebody says limited, it makes it sound like we're not going to be doing 1,000 copies of this. We're going to be doing 15 copies of this. Not that BTS would ever do an album of only 15 copies, but I'm just saying, like, once the first run of this album is done, we're not making any more. So I paid close to $100 to get 2 copies of that album. And then the album comes out, and it turns out this is the only edition of this album. So in that case, how is it deluxe if there's not a standard edition? How is it limited when this is the only one that we're doing and it's never going to go out of stock? You're lying to me. You're lying to me. And you did it to get people to get these huge pre-orders, and you made it to where, oh, you can only order 4 copies at most. You can't do multiple, you can't do 15 copies. Not that I was going to do 15 copies of a $50 album, but like, you played it as if this was School Love Affair special edition. That's the way you played it. And so you've got an album that was marketed in a deceptive way. The single prior to the album was a song that didn't have anything to do with the creative process of the boys themselves. It was totally, songs by committee. I feel like I'm losing BTS. And I realize I don't own them, and I don't presume to own them, but I feel like the connection I had with BTS's music early on in their careers, I'm losing that because they don't sound like that. They're not as involved in their work as they have been. And, people are like, well, they took their own photographs and they directed their own videos, and so they're really involved. But they're involved in stuff that they never were involved with before because it didn't make a difference to the music. Like, I didn't expect members of BTS to film their own videos and take their own photographs because that didn't have anything to do with the music. The music was something else entirely. And so once you take the music making out of their hands, what am I listening to? I'm listening to karaoke. And I'm not here for karaoke. I'm here to hear them. Now, definitely they had much more involvement in the album for B, so I appreciate that. I'm glad to see them come back into the room in terms of the creation of things. But Dynamite set a really dangerous precedent in basically saying, like, if the shit's catchy enough, we can make it sell because we're BTS. And everyone's saying that they love us because of us writing our own songs and everything like that. Yeah, that's not necessarily the case anymore because we just sold them a song that we didn't write at all. So that's how I feel about that. And I realize it's not a very popular opinion, and I've been losing a couple of subscribers here and there who subscribed to me because of my BTS unboxing video. I'm so sorry. It just is what it is. So let's see some things that people said. So people said, I wish the year-end performance were of other songs on the album, not just the same songs. I agree, but also BTS is thinking we don't want to learn a bunch of different choreography. Also, it's COVID, and the music shows don't actually pay for a lot of the stuff the artists do. So they're like, why would we sink a bunch of money into this when we have American production companies that are paying for us to rent out different places and do costumes and all that stuff, but the Korean year-end shows aren't paying us shit? Why should we spend the money when we already made the sales? Steetstim says, I hope that's what, or Steelstim? I can't read it, I'm sorry. I just knew they wouldn't be able to top Black Swan. They haven't so far. Sasha says, I miss the times where their title tracks were more rap line heavy. I agree, because rap line is my fave. I like vocal line, don't get me wrong, but I mean, RM is my bias, and Suga's probably my second in the group, so I'm very rap line biased. Next, Jordan says, BTS is a hit or miss for me, for sure, as far as title tracks, but I usually always love their B-sides. Some of my favorite BTS songs are B-sides. I've made no secret about how much I adore the song Tomorrow. Tomorrow is such a perfect BTS song. It is the song that to me is BTS. The next favorite song I have of BTS, it's either House of Cards or it's the introduction to Dark and Wild. The intro to Dark and Wild is one of my favorite songs that RM has ever been a part of. I really feel like it shouldn't be called a BTS song because it's just him, but What Am I to You? It is such a great concept song. Like, if you've never listened to What Am I to You, there is a video that they did for What Am I to You, and back when BTS used to do intro songs for their albums, and it would be like one member of the rap line would do like a whole song just for them, and they would do like an animated video for that song. The intro for Dark and Wild is all RM, and it is so good. It's basically about a guy falling in love with a girl, and then slowly their relationship seems to like not be doing so great. She's not really answering the phone. She seems like she's disinterested, and she's not really like, there anymore. And then they break up, and he's in the midst of their breakup just hollering, "What am I to you?" And it's just ugh. Also, Dark and Wild, one of their best albums ever. One of their best albums ever. Young Forever is the best album, but Dark and Wild is a smooth second. But yeah, man, their B-sides are tough. House of Cards, what a great song. Home, girl, welcome to my casa. Hey, Pluto, Pied Piper. Pied Piper might be my second favorite BTS song now that I'm thinking about it. I mean, don't get me wrong. What Am I to You is still really great. But Pied Piper, I really wish they had done a video for Pied Piper. Because Pied Piper was that girl. I can see the video in my mind. It's just somebody running. Like the whole video is just running. Anyway, I got off course. Yes, their B-sides are wonderful. M Century says, loved On and kind of think it should have been the English single and Black Swan the title track. I didn't need Dynamite, but I'm happy for its accomplishments. I'm happy for its accomplishments too. I would have enjoyed a Black Swan in English personally. Like, that's my vibe. On was okay, but again, like I said earlier, it feels like a song meant for the stadium, not necessarily a song meant for my car. And that's where I listen to a lot of music, is in my car. Next, sadly, I agree. It felt like the music became way less important than marketing and making millions. And I mean, don't get me wrong, some of the members of BTS came from not super privileged backgrounds, so the money is a comfort, and stardom's not guaranteed. So make as much money as you can right now, because you won't always be on top. And they're basically building their retirements. They're building something that allows them to never have to work again if they don't want to. And there is a good chance some of them might be cashing in a little bit earlier than others. Personally, Jin, his birthday song, the way that he wrote his like introduction to his birthday song before, like he basically did a letter and he was talking about his birthday song, he sounded like he was almost done. And this is not the first time that Jin has said, we almost called it quits. I think Jin is mainly talking about himself. He's like, I almost called it quits. Because let's not forget, Jin came into BTS thinking that he would do the idol thing, but he would also do the acting thing. He has not been allowed to do the acting thing. He has been tied by the neck to the BTS thing. And he would be a fool not to pursue that. However, he had things that he wanted to do. And he loves the group. He loves the guys in the group. But he had other thoughts and ideas and desires and goals for his own life. And he hasn't felt confident in the group because it really does suck that we live in an age where everything can be quantified. So when BT21 merchandise comes out, when tour merchandise comes out, when anything that has the 7 members comes out, they get reports back letting them know which member sold the most. They get these reports because it's a part of marketing. You get your report back, it tells you who sells the most. That way you know the next time you do a print run, which members you need to print more of because of the demand. It's not an even printing. And I'm sure Jin gets those reports and he sees how he's not really a favorite of most of the fans. His personality has kind of been dwindled down to being the handsome guy, and he gets a little bit lost. Like, if you look at the Dynamite video, they did Jin so fucking dirty in that video. Like, that is another thing that I really hate about Dynamite. I don't really hate, like, Dynamite is a little too repetitive for me, but I hate the fact that Jin was practically non-existent in that video. It's not fair. He's just as much a member as the other 6, but he continuously gets neglected when it comes to lines and music video appearance, and just he's just not a focus for anybody. Him and J-Hope, I feel like they battle for people to notice them, whereas everyone else in the group seems like they have like really solid fan bases in terms of like they sell really well. But Jin and J-Hope, they seem like they get left behind a lot. But man, I feel like once Jin, if he goes to the military, I say if because they have introduced legislation to basically keep BTS out of the military. But Jin might decide, you know, fuck it. I'm still going to go anyway because it's a point of pride for me as a Korean man. I'm not going to miss that time. But yeah, if Jin does go to the military, I have a feeling that when he comes out of the military, he's either going to just, you know, decide BTS is what it is, or he's going to say, this has been great, fellas, but I just got some other things on my mind. So Sasha says, because no one knows what life's going to be like after the military. I kind of addressed that a little bit. I read the credits, and there's outside producers making the song sound overproduced. Absolutely. Contract wise, they have at least 5 more years, I think. So even if they have 5 more years, I mean, that's 5 years and they're already into it. So 5 years is not that long. That's 2025. That's not that long. By then, if Jin doesn't want to do it no more and he'll be in his 30s, he's not going to do it no more. And I can't say that he's wrong. You know, Jin's not like the rest of us. Oh yeah, I'll support him whatever he does. Jin's not like the rest of us. He grew up in a household that had enough money for him to absolutely pursue their dream. And because of that, I think that he's willing to walk away from money, unlike the rest of us. I think if I was a member of BTS and I came from the background that I came from, I'd be terrified of leaving the group or losing the group, because I've never seen money like that, and I've never known money like that, and I'd be scared of losing it all and going back to the place that I came from. But Jin doesn't have that conundrum. He doesn't have that problem because he came from a well-to-do background. So in terms of walking away from the money, he's just walking away from something he's already had access to. So, never know. So Sasha says, I love them all, and I will support whatever they do. However, I'll never support them if they pull the one direction on us. I'd like the truth as much as they are allowed to give us, not say we'll be back in 2 years and then say they hate each other. I agree. So, I am 41. Told you guys that. I'm 41 years old. I grew up with New Kids on the Block, Boyz II Men, New Edition. I'm just listing boy groups here. 98 Degrees, Backstreet Boys, NSYNC. I grew up in the age of the boy band, basically. And NSYNC was my whole heart for a really long time because I had a long-term connection with NSYNC. I've talked about this on my channel before. When I was in middle school / high school, I was a huge fan of the Mickey Mouse Club on Disney. And JC Chasez, Justin Timberlake, what's his name? Oh, the guy from The Notebook, Ryan something or other, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, all of them were members of the Mickey Mouse Club. The Mickey Mouse Club had some legit stars. If you think that Hannah Montana is one of the biggest stars to ever come out of a Disney production, or if you think Selena Gomez is that, Ryan Gosling, thank you. Ryan Gosling, Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Justin Timberlake, and JC Chasez were all on the Mickey Mouse Club at the same time. I love the Mickey Mouse Club, and I had no idea back then that they were going to be the huge superstars they turned out to be. I was just like, these people are fun. I love them. Well, fast forward a few years, and they start to take over pop. Well, I'd been loving JC on the Mickey Mouse Club. By the time Justin Timberlake showed up, JC had been on the show at that point for 3 or 4 years. And then the last 2 years of the MMC was when all the other people showed up. So I'd been loving them for a long, long time. So when NSYNC premiered, they started out in Germany and then they went from Germany to the United States. I was in love. Automatically, the biggest fan, NSYNC, waving the banner strong. Like, I liked the Backstreet Boys when they came out, but NSYNC was my whole heart. And I still am a fan of the music that Justin Timberlake has made. I said that very specifically for a very specific reason. Those of us who are fans of Janet Jackson, you know what time it is. But I'm still very much a fan of the music that Justin Timberlake made at one point in his career. And so I know that pain. I was not a One Directioner, but I know the pain of having your group put out a last phenomenal album and then never getting back together. I mean, I'm fortunate in that the other members of NSYNC have never been public about how much they hate NSYNC. In fact, they did, when Justin Timberlake got his Icon Award at the MTV Awards, he brought the other 4 members of NSYNC with him and they performed together. And they took a picture together and it was all gravy. And then they all except for Justin, came together to do a stage for Ariana Grande at Coachella. Because she had the bridge for Break Up With Your Boyfriend contains a sample of an NSYNC song, and they sang that sample. So the song that they did is a song called Makes Me Ill. Yes. So as a long-term NSYNC fan, indulge me for a minute while I croon to you. So NSYNC has songs like, oh, it makes me ill to see you give love and attention at his will, and you can't imagine how it makes me feel to see you with him. So there's a part of the song where it goes like, call me a hater if you want to, but I only hate on him because I want you. You can say I'm tripping if you feel like, but you without me ain't right. You can say I'm crazy if you want to, that's true. I'm crazy about you. You can say I'm breaking down inside because I can see you with another guy. Anyway, that was a B-side for NSYNC, but I know all the words because I was a stan. I was at Walmart at midnight when these albums came out, y'all. Anyway, so Break Up With Your Boyfriend by Ariana Grande, she goes, she uses that, I only hate on him because I want you. She uses that part in her song. So when she did that part on stage, she brought NSYNC out to do it with her. That was a long circle to get to the point. So anyway, huge NSYNC fan. But they never gave us closure. They never gave us closure. They never said NSYNC was done. They never said this is our last album. They never gave us a last tour. They just ended. And they ended because Justin Timberlake became a star. And that's not a lie at all. If Justin Timberlake had flopped and then JC Chasez had flopped, they would have found a way to do another NSYNC album. They just would have done it. But JC Chasez did not do great. Justin Timberlake's Justify is one of the greatest albums of his entire career. Facts. And it hurt my heart. It hurt my heart to lose NSYNC. I mean, don't get me wrong. I still love Justified. And the first 2020 experience is also a banger. But I loved NSYNC. I missed them. I missed them a lot. Okay. Let's see here. Other commentary. M Century says, J-Hope and Jin are so underappreciated. Jin brings so much emotion, especially when he does a song solo. J-Hope is my favorite rapper, even though Yoongi is my bias. He manipulates his voice so well. J-Hope had the best mixtape of all of the rap line. I said what I said. Hope World is a better mixtape than any other mixtape the rap line has done. And there's going to be people who are going to be mad at me and I'll be like, how could you say that? Hope World is just more fun. Hope World sounded like an album. It didn't sound like a mixtape. And it just had a certain amount of joy. And it seemed like it had more varied technique. It seems like J-Hope, because he didn't start out with aspirations to be a rapper, he doesn't have like a persona that he's in pursuit of all the time. Like Suga has his August D persona. And of course, Namjoon has his RM persona, his rap monster persona. But J-Hope, he's like, you know, J-Hope because I'm your hope. But he doesn't have a rap persona that he is trying to constantly follow. He's just himself. He likes to dance and he raps as if he plans to dance to what he's rapping about. And that makes his mixtape just so much more fun. And so he is extremely underrated because people don't value fun. They value seriousness. The movies that win Oscars are serious affairs. Fun movies don't win. And J-Hope is fun. So people need to give him credit for that. And M Century says, I think Jin will go too, and I think maybe Yoongi will go in around the same time. If Yoongi's body keeps giving him problems, he's probably going to tell him, like, listen, if you want me on stage, I'm going to be sitting in a chair because I can't do this. Because he's had so many problems with his physical body over the years that, yeah, if things keep going the way they're going, he's like, listen, I am an old man. Please let me rest. I cannot do all the dancing and the things that we're doing here. Like, it's weird though, because if you look at him when they're on stage, he has a lot of fun dancing. He's just not a great dancer, but he has a lot of fun dancing. But also, it hurts to dance as hard as they are tasked with dancing in a concert. And I remember when I saw them in person, and I agree with Sarah. J-Hope is stunning in person. When we went to go see them in Fort Worth, J-Hope's set almost gave me a heart attack because he jumped off of the platform that he was on, and I was like, oh my God, he's good. Oh my, please don't do this. But he is an electric performer because he really knows how to use his body. And so he's just on the stage by himself, but you can't take your eyes off of him because he's moving the whole time. Yoongi's performance very much kind of like he's not, I don't think he's as comfortable dancing by himself. So there wasn't a lot going on in his solo stage. It was kind of sleepy solo stage, but yeah, underrated, completely underrated. And Jin's solo stage was pretty, but it also looked like his solo stage was the one that the production team put the least amount of care into. His solo stage was basically a transition from the solo stages to a vocal line performance. And that's not fair for him. Agree, facts, sorry. RM and Suga. I agree. We need another mixtape from him. J-Hope is an incredible performer. Every time I have seen BTS live, J-Hope literally shines. Wow, who else is great live? RM is actually really good live. Like, most of BTS is good live. I'm not even going to act like there's like a super weak performer. Like I said, Yoongi's stage is not as exciting, but that's mostly because he just seems like he's tired. And I get that energy. I live by that energy. But RM, when I saw him, it was during the first leg of the US Love Yourself tour. They were in Fort Worth, and he did Love as his solo stage. And he was so good. Like, he didn't have choreography for his stage, and he was on stage by himself. He had no background dancers. He's like, what is love? And he's just like jumping around, and he's wearing this blue and white striped kimono, and he looks fucking delicious. He looks super tall on stage. He's not super tall, but he looks super tall on stage. And he just has a lot of like confidence, and confidence is super attractive. And so RM was really great on stage. Like I said, Yoongi does best when he's with the rest of the group. Like, their energy kind of feeds him and takes him to a place that he can't really reach by himself a lot of the time. Jimin sounds really good live. Like, Jimin sounds very good live. And I was surprised how crystal clear his voice was in a live setting. J-Hope is really good live too. He brings a lot of like kind of athletic energy to his dancing. So like, he jumps the highest, he stomps the hardest. It's just really exciting to watch him, because watching Jungkook out there is like watching an athlete. Jimin is a dancer, so everything he does is always very graceful, very beautiful, very calculated, and his voice very much sounds like his body movements. But Jungkook, when he's out there, it is like watching a star athlete on a basketball court or on a track and field. Like his body looks powerful. And it makes it to where you can't stop looking at him. V is not as great as a solo performer. And even kind of when it comes to like group dancing, he's good, but he's not someone who draws most of my eye. Where V is really good is in filling in the small moments. So they have moments where, of course, they need to breathe, and somebody will have to talk to the audience, and in the meantime, somebody else will be in the back and, kind of like picking at people and, doing things so that like the fan cams are interesting. That's where V shines. Like he's really good at creating like this fill in the gap between the performance and the kind of monologuing and interacting with the people in the crowd, and it makes it to where he's indispensable in that way. Like if he's not at a concert, you need to ask for your money back, because he is the glue in a lot of ways when it comes to that. Him and Jin, that's their specialty. Jin is really good also at being an audience interactor. He spends a lot of time looking in the crowd and a lot of time like making faces to the crowd and like you really letting the crowd know, I'm here because you're here. He's really super good at that. And I appreciated that about the performance. And I was fairly close. I was P2, but I was literally one aisle away from P1. Like I'm sitting in my seat. The person right below me is P1. And there's 3 rows before your standing room. That's how close I was to the stage. So I got a lot of energy from the position I was in when I saw them. The question was asked, have you ever seen anyone else live too, like SHINee? Yes, I have seen SHINee. I've seen SHINee twice. I'm a very blessed individual. So I saw SHINee for the first time at SHINee's fan meet in Fort Worth. Well, Dallas, Fort Worth, at the Verizon. They were at the Verizon twice. But the first time they came to do the fan meets, they did a fan meet in Chicago, they did it at the Verizon, and they did it in LA. And I saw SHINee there. They opened the fan meet with everybody because that was the single at the time. And I have it documented on my channel. So if you'd like to see the 2 times that I saw SHINee, I have both of those times. Actually, I have my BTS concert experience also here on my YouTube channel. But when I saw SHINee live, I damn near lost my mind. I also suffered from severe dehydration. I may have had a case of the heat strokes, not sure. But they are so good. They're so good. Seeing SHINee was my worst personal concert experience, not because of their performances, but because I was suffering from dehydration. I was sick as a dog for a week after seeing SHINee because it was a hot summer day in Dallas. Dallas is super humid, and so if it's like 90 degrees outside with the humidity, it's 105. And nobody was selling water in the vicinity of the Verizon. I had been outside the Verizon for hours before the concert began, and so I just was done. And yeah, it fucked my body up. So that was my worst experience in terms of me personally. Worst concert experience in terms of watching somebody perform. I haven't been to a ton of K-pop concerts. I went to go see Super M in the DMV when they first went on tour in the United States. I've seen BTS once. I've seen SHINee twice. I went to the Korean Times Music Festival, which had EXID, NCT, Red Velvet, B2B, Rain, and there's one other like K-pop group that I'm thinking of that I can't seem to place right now. But that was an experience. Worst performing, like for the artist. Okay, at the Korean Times Music Festival, no one in Red Velvet works as hard as Seulgi. Straight up. NCT, when I saw NCT back then, it was right when the Limitless album came out, I think. I think it was the Limitless album because they performed Touch on the stage, and I remember thinking that that was their best song. It still is top 5 for NCT for me. But I remember thinking these boys are working super hard, and I hope that they're successful because people are missing out because they are a machine when they're on stage. Granted, at that time, none of the boys were comfortable when they were performing. So, like, they were performing as a machine. Nobody was comfortable enough in their success to like do anything that kind of fell out of line with the other boys. So like if you were to watch NCT in concert now, especially after watching Super M, they're more comfortable kind of like throwing in their own move or like being a little bit more relaxed on stage, whereas back then they were aiming for perfection and everyone was a precision machine. Now everyone's kind of got their own stage personality, which really helps out with watching them. But Red Velvet had been in act for quite a while when I saw them because Peekaboo had come out. That was the song that they were performing. I don't think that Bad Boy had come out yet when I saw them at the Korean Times Music Festival. And watching them on stage, it just seemed like the other girls were tired. Whereas Seulgi looked like, I'm actually having to dumb this down for these bitches to be able to keep up with me, but yes, I'm giving it to you. And I went to that concert with Mason. We both bought our tickets at separate times, so we didn't hide. But we both were at that concert together. We spent the whole day together and then went to the concert. And both of us were like, we can't wait for Seulgi's solo because she is eating those girls up. She really is. Even when she's doing the exact same thing that they're doing, you cannot take your eyes off of Seulgi on stage. She is that girl. You're just like, oh, wow. Oh, wow. Ooh. Like, she's that. Whereas the other girls are pleasant, but she's just so good that she makes them look like they ain't trying. Also, Wendy has a very wooden personality on stage. I'm not even saying that to be rude to her. Get well, Wendy. But Wendy was also like the part MC for the event, and she was very like, and next to the stage, Roy Kim. And it was like, girl, be excited. Feed the audience. Give us some energy. But yeah, Red Velvet was the group that I was the most disappointed when I saw them because Seulgi was eating the other girls up so bad. Like, I don't know how they made it off the stage because she ate them up. There wasn't much left of them when they left. Maybe I'm biased, but I really love seeing Red Velvet at their solo concert. Perhaps it's because Joy wasn't there. Could be. I would love to see Red Velvet in concert. I really, really hope SM will listen to me and will go ahead and give us a La Rouge Kino or a La Rouge DVD. Mason bought me the La Rouge photo book. He didn't have to. He just did because he's amazing. And that photo book is my favorite non-shiny K-pop photo book. It is beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And it made me angry. I got it and I'm like, this is so gorgeous. This is so great. These pictures are so nice. Where's the fucking concert, guys? Oh, man. La Rouge is the concert that I wanted to go to. When Red Velvet came to the United States to do their concert, I think it was the Red Room was the concert. I could be wrong. I'm probably wrong. But I want to say they were coming with the Red Room. I had already seen like the track list and stuff for that concert. Red Mare, that's what it was, is the Red Mare. I had seen the track list ahead of time, and I'm like, I really want to go see Red Velvet, but I also don't want to see any of these songs. Because there's a lot of the songs that just aren't my personal fave. A lot of B-sides that weren't my personal fave. But then they did La Rouge in Korea. And La Rouge is every Velvet thing I wanted. They did all the hits. All the hits. They did Automatic. They did Be Natural. They did all the hits. And then they did a version of Kingdom Come. And it's so sexy. And it's so beautiful. And it's the right staging for that kind of song. And they never brought it here. They never brought it here. It just, it didn't even try. Didn't even try. But that is the one that if they had said Red Velvet's bringing La Rouge to the United States, I would have found a way to buy that concert ticket, and I would have walked to the venue if I had to, because it's everything. That track list is stunning. Those performances, the costuming, the lighting, the stage production, woo-wee, is so good. So good. So Han Sueño says, OMG, I'm so sad now realizing how badly Red Velvet has been treated right now. Yeah, Red Velvet has been robbed. You know, there's a lot of ways that Red Velvet has been robbed, to be quite honest with you. Red Velvet is the girl group at SM right now. Yes, aespa has come out. Yes, there was an FX for quite a while. But, you know, SNSD is now OGG. And even OGG's only ever had one group effort. They haven't had a comeback. It's been, what now, 2 years, maybe close to 3 years since they had OGG. So for the last several years, Red Velvet has been the girl group at SM. And they do things that no one else does. You know, like, they can be cute, they can be sexy, they can be quirky, they can be dancey, they can be just bizarre. They are the all-around group. And still, with how versatile Red Velvet is and how much they do with just 5 girls, they aren't considered in the same league as Twice and Blackpink. Even though Red Velvet is the girl group at SM. Let it be very clear. They are the girl group at SM, but they don't get anywhere near the dues that these other girl groups get, being the brand ambassadors for their labels. And it's because SM has been constantly trying to make the next BTS. And I say it now as an SM stan, but let's just call a spade a spade. SM has been so incredibly pissed off that BTS's success didn't happen to an SM boy group that they have sunk all of their money into NCT. And I mean, the good news is that NCT are now million sellers with every release. Like, they have gotten to that point in their career. There was a time where physical sales wasn't really going for them, and it was looking like NCT might be a flop. But a lot of groups on SM start out slow, and then they really emerge. Red Velvet didn't even do that. Red Velvet was a hit right out the gate. Happiness was a pre-debut song, and a lot of people, sorry, my lips, bleh. A lot of people act like Happiness was the first song that Red Velvet debuted with. Happiness was the first song that had the name Red Velvet attached to it, but Happiness was not Red Velvet's debut. It was pre-debut. So was Be Natural's pre-debut. Their debut song was Ice Cream Cake / Automatic. Ice Cream Cake was a hit out the box. People act like it's revisionist history to say so, but it's a fact. They won music shows with Ice Cream Cake. So Red Velvet was a hit out the box. And NCT wasn't. NCT wasn't. And so SM said, we're just going to make them come back every 15 minutes until people get it. And eventually people did. I don't know how much money SM spent to get to this point, but eventually people did. But in the meantime, you have these girls who have been on top forever. Since day one, they have been delivering music show wins. They have been charting well digitally. They have a following that is completely organic, but is thorough and committed. And SM's like, good for y'all, but we got boys to take care of. Why? Why are y'all like this? Why are y'all like this? I keep hoping that one day they will get the separate label treatment that Super Junior got. I want that for all of the groups on SM, just to be quite clear. I want every label to have their own team. But I would love for Red Velvet to have their own team. like that's doing their things, because like SM just makes all the wrong moves, all the wrong moves. Like there are some moments that SM really gets it with Red Velvet. Like there really are some moments where SM is like ahead of the curve. People didn't know it was supposed to be like that, and they put it out there, and all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, that is smart. But then there's been some other times where I've been like, SM, what is we doing here? What is going on? With the Boomba Boomba Boo 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 Boo, the one that came out after Zimzalabim. Barumpa Boomba Oompa Oompa Boompa, whatever the fuck that song is called. I don't like that song. I don't know why SM released that. Oompa Oompa, thank you. I didn't like that song. I was not a fan of Looky Looky, also called Rookie Rookie, but pronounced totally wrong. I like Red Flavor, but it's not my favorite. But then there's other moments that Red Velvet have had that were just too advanced for the moment, and it's taken people years to catch up with. For instance, One of These Nights. One of These Nights is one of the best ballads to come out as a title song from SM as a label. I said what I fucking said. So many people, when One of These Nights came out, were like, this is the thing that's going to kill the Velvet side of Red Velvet. Nobody wants to hear these girls sing like this. They just want them to dance and do quirky music. I loved One of These Nights the very minute I heard it. The very first time I heard it, I wanted to cry. It was just so good. Fast forward years and years and years later. I'm listening to Red Velvet in my car, Spotify, just play all the hits. One of These Nights comes up, and it's not even the One of These Nights from the music video, the title track one. It's the One of These Nights that is the piano version on the album. Look it up. Look up One of These Nights. I think it's either called acoustic or piano version. It is heart-rendingly beautiful. It makes you want to cry. Their voices are completely on point. There's so much emotion. The song is so well written. It feels ethereal. It feels sentimental. It feels like somebody dreaming of a faraway place. I mean, not all the remixes were good, but that piano version, it still holds up. To this day, it still holds up. But Korea wasn't ready for it, because when they were thinking about Red Velvet, they were thinking about Dum Dum and Ice Cream Cake. So One of These Nights didn't hit like that for them, and it is the lost title track. When you think about Red Velvet's discography, it is the lost title track. More people remember Rookie than they remember One of These Nights. And so it looked for a long time like SM said, fuck that Velvet concept, we're not doing that shit, we're totally focused on Red. Then they gave us Peekaboo. And to be honest, I initially didn't think that Peekaboo was a Velvet song. The first time I heard Peekaboo, I'm like, this sounds like this is a Red song. It puts me in the mind of a Russian roulette. It has like a quirky kind of spoopy nature to it. Like it's spooky, but also like puffy, spoofy. It didn't feel Velvet, because when I think Velvet, I think R&B. That's just where my mind goes. But Peekaboo did good. The album came out. The Perfect Velvet album. The repackage came out. Bad boy. Get you a group who could do both. Get you a group that could do a Dum Dum, an Ice Cream Cake, a Red Flavor, and a Bad Boy. Who can do it? Who's doing it like them? You know, everybody talks about this big shift that Twice has made from being, you know, cutie uncle fan fodder to being like women who are really doing something special. Red Velvet's been there. They've done that. They've done that. They've always been on that trip. They've always done an Ice Cream Cake and an Automatic. They've always been that girl with that variety. The girl who can give it all to you. I can give you R&B, I can give you dance, I can give you pop. What do you want? I got it. I do it all. I'm every woman. And SM still is like, we'll get to you when we get to you. We'll put your albums out in December. That is the thing that is the most frustrating about Red Velvet for me. Red Velvet comes out with songs of the year consistently. almost all of Red Velvet's best songs come out at the wrong time of the year. Psycho recently celebrated its 1-year anniversary. Psycho came out in December. Psycho is a song that should have come out in October. It should have come out in October. It came out in fucking December. Bad Boy is another song. Came out too soon. And it's just, why can't you give us these songs when we need them? It is. It's like they get leftover comeback dates. The only thing that's positive about Red Velvet is that usually there's not a bunch of other comebacks on top of their releases from SM, because SM wouldn't do that to their guys, but they'll do that to Red Velvet. Another thing that pisses me off is just Naughty should have been the title track. I said what I said. Monster is a decent song. I get it. It would be a great TVXQ Korean song, but Naughty should have been the title track. It should have been. The fact that they did this stupid... SM, what the fuck is wrong with you? Sincerely. Man, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why would you release an album and then 2 weeks after the album releases, like, and now here's that secret song that only people who bought the album can listen to? What? What? Did you do this just to extend their promotion period? If that's the case, flip that shit over. It should have been Naughty. Everything about Naughty is superior to Monster. The outfits for Naughty are better than Monster. The video for Naughty is better than Monster. The choreography for Naughty is better than Monster. The songwriting for Naughty is better than Monster. The vocals for Naughty are better than Monster. Everything about Naughty is superior to Monster. You cannot change my mind. Even the lesbian overtones are better in Naughty than they are in Monster. Naughty is the superior song. And it just blows my mind that SM didn't want to promote it the way that they should have. It fell of the moment. Like, Dua Lipa, Lady Gaga, dance music is coming back, y'all. House dance music is coming back. Naughty is that girl. She's right in step with that what's trending. She's right in step with it. And so Naughty should have been it. Naughty does have a music video. Anthony, you know that. You know Naughty has a music video. It's mostly a performance video, but it is a music video. You haven't heard Naughty? Oh, God. Oh, no. I'm so angry. I'm not angry at you. I'm not angry at you, M Centuries. I'm not angry at you. I'm not angry at you. I'm angry at SM. I'm angry at SM. I'm angry because Anthony's saying Naughty should have had a music video, which it did. And I'm angry because you're saying you've not ever heard the song, which you should have, because SM did such a piss poor shitty job of promoting that song. I really don't want to get a copyright strike, you guys, but I feel like I have to play a snippet of it because I have to, y'all. I have to, y'all. I agree. Naughty was released so dumb. It was released so dumb. Okay, so I'm gonna pull up Naughty on my Spotify here, and I just. I have to stop because they will cut off my live stream if I do too much copyrighted stuff. Naughty is that Naughty's that bitch. Naughty's that bitch. Uh, and they're doing all the tutting and the voguing and they're the whole ballroom gamut they're bringing into the choreography. The part where she's doing the finger movements in front of the camera. Have you seen the behind the scenes for that? That shit is amazing. That shit is amazing. That should have been the title track. I'm so sorry. Monster's cool, but that should have been the title track. Also, if they weren't going to make it a title track for Red Velvet, I would have killed to hear Taemin do a version of Naughty. Just for funsies. I would love for like at the end of the year show, if they did what they call like Russian, well not Russian roulette, but like, you know the spin the wheel game where like you spin the wheel and it's got the little thing that tick, 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 and then it lands on a song. I would love to see them do that and have Taemin do Naughty and then have Seulgi and Irene do Criminal. I think that'd be amazing. So, because I feel like if Taemin released Naughty, that song would have been massive. Like, especially if Taemin did Naughty, but did all of the same choreography. Don't change a fucking thing. Like, I would love to see that. SM should start watching my live streams and stealing my ideas. Like, if SM does a SM Town in 2021, and they would like ideas from me, I want to see a dance-off between Taemin and Seulgi, and I want them to pick moments from each other's songs and do a dance-off, or like moments out of the SM catalog, but don't do like the stuff that people expect. But like Taemin gets out there and does the choreography for Naughty, and then they do it together. And then Seulgi does the choreography for Idea, and then they do it together. Man, a bitch can dream. And then here comes Queen Boa out of nowhere performing Honey and Diamonds, and I live. But yeah, I just SM, hire me. I'm not even expensive. I'm cheap. I'm cheap compared to your other consultants, but I've got it for you. I've got it for you. There's so many things I'd love to do. And yeah, and then do Hearts Up together. Boa and Taemin could do only one, but instead of doing only one, pick a different song. Like, have Boa and Taemin do Drip Drop, but let Boa sing Drip Drop and Taemin sing the harmony with her. So like, bring Boa out, have her do the choreography for Drip Drop, and then have Taemin. Or like, let Boa and Seulgi dance Naughty together, just for funsies. Just for funsies. I had to get this out real quick. So there's credits in the album here. It says that Tweaks was composed by Andreas Oberg, Daniel Obi Klein, and Charlie Taft, and arranged by Daniel Obi Klein. Do these names sound familiar to you? They should sound familiar to you, because Andreas Oberg and Charlie Taft have written songs for Red Velvet before. Tweaks, more than likely, is a song that SM turned down. Oh! Fucking it up, SM. Fucking it up. Fucking it up. Just at every chance you fuck it up. At every chance. So, I say all this to say, SM, you need to hire new people. SM, you need to hire new people. You need to hire new people. You need to hire young people. I'm not young enough for you to hire me, to be quite honest. Like, I would absolutely work on a, consult basis, give you a couple ideas, send me a couple of CDs, we'll call it even. You ain't got to pay me a whole bunch. But you need young people. You need to find out who the creative team is that Beyonce has hired to do all of the social media appearances for Chloe and Halle, and you need to get them to work with aespa. You need to fire whoever it was that decided that they were going to do the KDA concept for aespa, and you need to hire Chloe and Halle's team. let me tell you this. I am still not a fan of aespa's song. Black Mamba just didn't stick with me. I can't even hardly remember the song's melody anymore. And it's not that the KDA concept's not cool. That's the reason why it was a hit when it first came out. It's a cool concept, but it's lazy to give aespa that concept. That concept is lazy works for these girls. These girls were Essen's opportunity to ride a real wave. Like, there are some things that are going on in terms of TikTok style songs and stuff like that that have made it to where the current Western music market just really doesn't support K-pop the way it's been. It's supporting new K-pop, and it's supporting K-pop moving in different ways. And the first time I heard Giselle rap, I was like, okay, we can do something different here. She's got a little bit of rhythm. She can ride a beat. She can flow a little bit. She might not be writing the shit, but she at least knows how to deliver it. I could totally see aespa, instead of giving them the KDA treatment, give them the Doja Cat treatment. That's what aespa needs. aespa needs to hire the creative team for Doja Cat and not steal her team, but basically say would you like some side work? We've got some things for you. They need to make sure that they are hiring an up and coming rap artist to help write some of their rapping. I would like to see them work with an artist like Chika, who, because of her outward appearance, she doesn't get as much mainstream love as she should, but her shit knocks. I'd love to see them work with Chika. I would love to see them work with some really indie creative types. I would love to see them do kind of what is it, the super lonely. I love to see them do some of that. Yes, Doja Cat, but more PG friendly, absolutely. But just that kind of can float over any vibe because they just are a part of the culture. That's what I'd like to see. But I would love to see them do kind of that style Doja Cat, maybe a little say so, but not a whole bunch of say so. I would love to see them rock that style for aespa because they have someone who could flow. They've got vocals, so I could see them doing a mix of that. I could see them doing really cool social media performances. If we're going to sink money into the technology, instead of sinking money into AI characters and other bullshit like that, instead of doing that, let's sink the money into creating a virtual studio that allows them to do special performances that feel high quality, even if they're just doing covers. So create a really cool virtual studio with interesting filters and green screening and all this other stuff. And then once a week have aespa World concerts where aespa World has the girls do one song all together and then each member of aespa does a cover. And it's low impact. It's not 1,000 dancers or whatever else, but the girls get on there and maybe they pull songs from the SM catalog, but they switch up the style of the song to make it fit a more modern sensibility, and they do these aespa concerts. And then give it a voting component. I've totally come up with an idea. SM, do this for me. Do this for me. I will love you forever. Do on V Live, do aespa week or aespa day, where everybody knows either Wednesday night or Thursday night, aespa is going to do their weekly stage where each girl has a song that they're covering, and then they have a group song. And then what they tell you is at the end of 5 weeks, we're going to do a covers album, and we want you to vote for what goes on the covers album. And so every week when they're doing their live show, people vote for what their favorite 2 songs are. And those songs from those voting polls, that's where they come up with the songs that become the aespa virtual album or whatever. And we call aespa's December, aespa's January, aespa's February. And so they'll put together like a little package where like at the end of a month, they're like, these are the songs that you chose. And you can get like, you can download it. So you don't put it, um, you don't have to make it physical, because I realize releasing albums once a month physical, that's a challenge. That's not going to work. You can do it digitally. But if you pay to download the digital album, it comes with like special photo books from the performance or something like that. Like not physical photo books, obviously, but like you could kind of like Kino, but without a physical component to Kino, if you understand what I'm talking about. So there's photographs, and you could buy like the month album, and then you get the Kino content for that month's album. And it's like behind the scene photos from their stage performance, and like little stuff like that, maybe some selfies, shit like that. That'd be really, really cute. And it's something that doesn't cost you a lot of money. You already are working on your audio visual stages, and it's something where you can get, yes, like what Day 6 did. Do it. Do it, do it, do it. But instead of them having to come up with an original song every fucking week, instead they're doing covers of SM songs. So it makes it to where SM is getting 2 layers of promotion out of this. They're getting promotion for aespa, and people are like, oh wow, they're really like putting a spin on things, and these girls are a lot more talented than I thought. Because what you're doing is you're giving people familiar material that they already know and love, and they know what it's supposed to sound like, and they're comparing these girls to that original material, and by that they're able to make a judgment call on what they think of the girls' voices, what they think of the girls dancing, what they think of the girls in general, which is why doing the covers is so good. Secondly, if they do somebody's favorite cover, it's going to make people want to listen to that song. And so some of these songs are going to be so popular that they're going to start rising back up on the charts, because Korea is good for giving you a reminisce. They're good for plucking something out of obscurity and making it float back up the charts, especially because this is where you could really start going into the B-sides of the SM catalog. So make it to where the girls can only do a title track when they're all together, but when each individual girl is doing their solo song, they're all doing a B-side song. So you have one girl be like, okay, well, my B-side song is Kingdom Come. Or you have one girl getting up, okay, well, my B-side song today is Until Today. And like everybody does B-sides, because there's so many really brilliant B-sides that never get talked about for SM. And they've got 2 decades worth of songs to dive into. So yeah, like I could see somebody getting up there and be like, I want to sing, Cloud 9 from XL, something like that, and just dive into it. And I promise you, this is going to be the best promotion for aespa, because people can really see their skills compared to what SM's already given us. Again, it's going to make people dive into the B-sides of SM's catalog already. And I think that it could be killer. But that's just me. That's just me. And then like do that on the lead up to the album. And for the covers, the girls can choose what kind of cover they want to do. If you're more of a dancer and not a singer, you could do a dance cover. If you want to do a singing cover, you do a singing cover. It wouldn't cost a lot of money to do it digitally, because SM's already got stages. SM's already got tons of cameras. They have all this stuff set up. They don't have to take it anywhere. They just keep going back to it every week. Putting stuff online digitally, there's a little bit of like sound mastering you might have to do, a little engineering, but they also got hundreds of people who work for SM. They can make this happen pretty easily. Video editors, sound editors, they have a wardrobe department that could absolutely outfit these girls, but you don't even have to put them in fancy costumes. You don't even have to put as much money into their costumes as Chloe and Halle put into theirs. You could just be like, okay, well, this week the theme is sports, and it's jerseys and denim shorts. Or this week the theme is Coachella, and everybody's wearing kimonos and like swimsuit tops. Well, not really swimsuit tops, but you know what I'm talking about. Something kind of funky. No feathers, no braids. And you could do that for like little to no money compared to what they spend to print physical albums. Little to no money. I see it. I see it. I would like to be a part of it. But anyway, those are my ideas. I would love to see it, but SM's not going to do that because SM don't know how to do right by nobody. These cinnamon Muddy Butters are amazing. I shared it earlier with everybody. Oh yeah, there are people at SM who probably are sick and tired of the bullshit. And probably know that like the person who used to cheat on their homework is now the head of production. But I also feel like South Korea is a community, has a community standard that you can't just like jump over somebody's head and present your idea. That you have to present it to the next person above you, then they have to take credit for your idea and keep on moving up. And so in an environment where creativity and originality is not as rewarded as the seniority system, I do think it's very hard for people to move up and for new ideas to be kind of promoted and take hold. And I also think that SM, yeah, you know, that's always an option. Or like if one girl's getting a little too popular, make her do a dance cover so nobody votes for her. But yeah, I think that SM also needs to reach back out to their black songwriters. I know it's going to sound shallow. I know people are like, why are you bringing race into this? Some of my favorite SM songs have been written by foreigners. I think most all of them have. But the Stereotypes is a mixed race collective, and they kill SM songs. London Noise is a couple white guys, but they kill. And Teddy Riley wrote Call Me Baby. Teddy Riley wrote Call Me Baby. Come on. Come on. Black people wrote Move. Curtis Richardson, who I follow on Twitter, he helped write Move. Black people contribute a lot to SM sound. I think that SM would do good to find young black people. But yeah, they need to be in these streets, figuring out who's doing some behind the scene work and start hiring these people. Now, I don't expect to hear Metro Booming on the next NCT song, but I mean, even like the songs that black people have written for FX over the years, Four Walls, thank you. Like, really, when it comes to music, black people and their contributions to the SM catalog cannot be underscored enough, cannot be overestimated enough. Like, I can't put enough underscores underneath that. Like, it's us. I'm black. It's us. And I really think that they need to start looking at young, emerging black talent. I think that it could be kind of an exchange program of sorts, because SM's got links to capital. And they could be like, you know what? We found this young, talented black songwriter who's writing really quality stuff for us. And in them working with us, we'd like to offer them to help write for projects for your Western artist. Or, you know, maybe we can help with some production or some promotion. Like, we have connects. We can put you in contact with our connects. I think that could absolutely happen. You know, like, the people behind Michael Jackson's biggest hits are mostly older people now. And so they're probably not the best people to bring on. But there's so many young people who were inspired by Michael Jackson that if they really want to bring that vibe, they're out there. And there's people who are used to doing production, who are like, they have their own careers, but they're also used to doing a ton of production. Ty Dolla $ign would write for SM if they waved enough money at him. And his productions are interesting and different. There's so many young female songwriters that have really gotten their shine lately. And I'm certain that if SM was to wave enough money, you could get Victoria Monet to write for SM. She's got her own career, but you've seen what she's done with Ariana Grande. What's the name of the group that was with them? Oh, fuck. Something House. Can't remember their name now, but they were the opening act for Ariana Grande. They came first, and then it was Normani. But they wrote Break Up With Your Boyfriend with Ariana. Social House, that's what it is. They could hire Social House to write for SM. They're right there. They're right there. Spend the money on not old white guys. Spend the money on some really young black creatives, because you're not ever going to stop wearing cornrows. You're not ever going to stop wearing do-rags, bejeweled do-rags. That shit's never going to stop. But it would make me feel better if you put some money in the pockets of young black creatives. I agree. So that's what I would change for SM. No, I have not watched that yet. I should, but I haven't. I quit watching React to the K's videos as much. I don't really watch a lot of reaction videos anymore, to be quite honest with you. I think it's because I've gotten over it. Okay, so when I first started watching React videos, I did it because there was not anybody in my real life who was excited about K-pop. So I watched React videos to see people enjoy K-pop the way that I enjoy K-pop, which is the reason why initially I was a big fan of Jerry KML back when it was him and KML together. And I still love Tumin Jin Jong Ki, even though their uploading is sporadic at best. But yes, I used to be a person who really enjoyed React channels because I was alone in this K-pop thing. Nobody in my real life other than my daughter listened to K-pop, and my daughter listened to K-pop because I listened to K-pop, and she wasn't in charge of the radio in the car. But now I have friends who listen to K-pop. Tarian, we met in real life. He's on the Shiny YT. That's Tarian. We met in real life at the H Mart. We've actually seen each other in real life a couple of different times. But I have people in my life who listen to K-pop. And now that I have people in my life who listen to K-pop that I can discuss the new releases with, that I can gauge their reaction, who I trust to be tastemakers, I don't feel the need to watch a Jerry KML or React to the K or a Brisk Life. I don't feel the need to watch them react to K-pop, because I now have people that I know and trust their opinion and their taste levels to talk about K-pop with me. And that's the reason why I don't watch reaction channels anymore. But that was why I used to watch them back in the day. And I think that's something that the K-pop community really needs to grow up about. Because a person like Brisk Life should not be as popular as he is. Facts. Brisk Life absolutely used K-pop as a way to enhance his own personal brand. He could give a fuck about K-pop. He really could. I'm absolutely certain that that's not the music he listens to when he's off on his own. He watches the shit to get subscribers, to get Patreon views, to get all the other things. But when it comes to actually giving a fuck about the music, he doesn't care. And he's not the only one. He just seems to be one of the bigger names of people who have used K-pop to enhance their social visibility. But I don't need somebody like him to tell me that BTS has good songs. I don't need somebody like him to tell me that I would really enjoy the next Hyolyn song. I don't need him going, ooh, yeah. I don't need that in order to let me know if a song is hitting. I know. But back when I was, again, newer to K-pop and I didn't have as many people in my social circle who listen to K-pop, I clung to these reactions. I used these channels to inform me of new music. It made me feel like I was a part of something. And I wouldn't criticize them for not knowing the names of idols, because truth be told, I don't know the names of a lot of idols either. But I clung to these shreds of community in order to make me feel less alone. And I still think that a lot of people do that. I still think that a lot of people watch reactors to feel like they're introducing somebody to something, or to feel like they're not alone in their appreciation of something. And so reactors still have a place in the community. I'm not saying all reactors should get out of the business. But I think the K-pop community really needs to be better about vetting people who are sincere and people who are absolute um, charlatans and wolves in sheep's clothing, and her using reacting in order to profit and gain. Um, there are some people who've been in it for the long haul that are still gross and shitty, and we haven't gotten them out the paint. So I mean, it's just going to continue to be a thing as long as they like the right groups. Nobody's ever going to correct them or tell them get out of our space because you're just using us for clicks and views and likes. As long as they react to the right people and the right songs, and they have the right opinions, and they're overly positive about everything, and they don't dislike anything, and everything is a bop, then they're never going to be called to the carpet about the way that they use the community for personal gain. I think about how I've kind of fallen out of love with Jerry. Not that I was ever like in love with him, but like I definitely had a time where his reaction channel was probably my favorite reaction channel, especially when it would be him and KML. I really enjoyed them together. And recently I watched a JRE video, and I think it was him reacting to what came out recently that he reacted to that was a big deal. I think it was him reacting to like E High or reacting to Crush, reacting to something not like super mainstream but mainstream enough. And I was watching his reaction, and you could see that JRE has been reacting to things for a really long time. And it felt like it was cool, I'll react to this, but also I have a Twitch channel. And I know that that's not his intention. And also, it's harder to react to stuff on YouTube because copyright strikes and copyright claims and all that stuff makes it really tough for people. And so it's very hard to react to stuff and, not worry about your channel getting demonetized. So it's very difficult, even though Twitch is now starting to throw down the copyright hammer. So Twitch is not going to be safe soon anymore either. Honestly, Twitch is about to get rough because a lot of people have gotten their channels deleted recently because Twitch won't buy general licensing. So companies have been coming in, especially if you're playing like popular music, and they have been wiping your shit away on Twitch. So he might need to be careful. He might need to be paying attention. But like, if you look at old Jerry, and I'm talking like Jerry when Eyes Nose Lips came out, Jerry, and you look at his reaction now, you can just tell like his eyes read been there, done that, seen that. And I think his channel more now is about him as a personality than him reacting to things. And I don't get me wrong, I like Jerry's personality. He seems like a really cool, chill dude, but the thing I came to the channel for, which was the K-pop, he's reacting about how like I would react to stuff. And I'm not interested in watching myself in a mirror. I mean, I don't look like him, but I'm just saying, I'm not interested in seeing my reaction thrown back at me at this point. So it's not as entertaining as it used to be. Somebody mentioned about reaction channels and Patreons. Listen, you guys are so blessed because, bitch, if I had like an actual computer and knew how to do edits and shit like that, I would absolutely have a Patreon. I would have had a Patreon 3 years ago, back when Patreons first started being a thing people mentioned, because I don't make no money off of YouTube. Well, I take that back. I recently made $116 off of YouTube, and that is bananas. It's bananas because of the way that I made that money. So my channel's been monetized now for close to a year, and in that time I've made no money. I had never made any money. But that's because I don't monetize everything. I don't monetize my lives hardly at all. I very rarely, if ever, monetize my lives. And even then, I have to go back and monetize it later on. So, like the initial views that come out, people don't really see it. So, that's the thing. But I did a video that compared my old copy of School Love Affair, BTS's School Love Affair Special Edition, to the new copy I bought at Target. That video has over 100,000 views. It is the most watched video on my entire channel in the history of my entire YouTube life. It doesn't make any fucking sense that I have that many views for that video, but it is a thing. And the reason why it's a thing is because I filmed that video the day that the US version came out. No, the next day. The next morning I filmed that video, posted it to YouTube, and it went like this. And I monetized it the minute that I uploaded it because I knew that I was probably going to get close to maybe 5,000 views, maybe even 15. Well, it's like 1,500, 5,000. That's what I was shooting for. I thought that, you know, my channel's not known for BTS content, I don't think, even though I've been doing BTS content for a really long time. I'm not really known for that. That video is currently sitting at over 100,000 views. And because of that, and the fact that I put monetization on it very early on, I made $116. It took me a couple of months to get that money, and then I had to go through the whole thing of like verifying my address, verifying my account number, all that stuff. But yeah, Google sent me $116. And it is all that video. It's nothing else I've ever done on YouTube. Nothing else. Everything else that I've ever monetized on YouTube, I've made like $3 here, $5 there. I've never even made $20 with anything that I've posted. That video alone is where the money came from. So, yeah, I did. I got back the money I spent on the album. But I think about if I made $120, well, I'm just going to round up. If I made $120 on 100,000 views, and some of these reaction channels are making tons of views on their videos, like consistently hitting 20K, 50K, 100K, 250,000, things like that. If those channels have Patreons and their Patreons are paying to be able to do polls to tell them what they should next react to, or to put, you know, custom content on Patreon, if that shit is happening, the money that they're making would be obscene. Because it took 100,000 views for me to make $120. If I had 12 Patreons at $5 a month, I'd make $120 a month. It took me several months to get to $120. If I had 12 Patreons at $5 a piece, and I stopped doing live streams on this channel, if I stopped it to like once a month on my Patreon, I'd be getting paid more on Patreon than I would have ever made on YouTube. So, do I feel like it's a bad thing that they have Patreon? Now that I've seen what YouTube pays, I absolutely get why people have Patreon. Because YouTube pays pennies. 100,000 views. Every view monetized, unless you have YouTube Red. 100,000. $116. 12 Patreons. $5 each. Monthly, same money. But times 12 over the course of a year. So, yeah, if I had a computer setup where I could like give you curated content, edited content, if I could be like the internet historian and give you like deep dives into groups and shit like that, the stuff I talk about but I don't have visual aids for, if I was doing that kind of thing on Patreon, girl, don't let me do it, because I absolutely would. But outside of the fact that I don't have the technology to currently make Patreon a working business model for me, also, I come to you looking like this. I come to you looking like this. And I would just feel like if I was doing Patreon, I need to at least get dressed. Maybe need to throw a little shellac on the lips or something. But yeah, I totally get why these reactors are like, listen, I might react to BTS and get 50,000 views from that, but then I'm going to react to Girls in the Park and get 5,000 views, whereas my Patreon is steady income, so I don't even need the views. The views are just advertisements for my Patreon. And so, yeah, I totally get why young reactors are doing that shit. I would do that shit too. It's a game. It's a game. It's a grift. It's a scam. It's a clout chase. It is getting over on the people who allow themselves to be gotten over on. Now, I'm not saying that everybody who has a Patreon is that way, because I actually do support a Patreon. I support a Patreon for Kev on Stage, and I enjoy his content. And as a Patreon member, I like everything I get that's outside of what he provides on his regular channel. So I'm not even mad. I actually really, really like his content, and I'm glad to see where my money has gone, because I started being a Patreon of Kev on Stage early on in the year, maybe at the end of last year. And in that time, he has gotten a brand new studio. He's hired new people to work on his staff. He created a brand new app that he's going to be using, and he uses money to employ comedians who have been unable to do stand-up shows because of coronavirus. So he does digital stand-up shows for them. And so I love being his Patreon, because I've actually been able to see my money grow with him over the course of being a Patreon. So there's some Patreons that make a whole bunch of sense and it allows people to do some really fantastic things, and there's other Patreons that's just like, basically like, do you want me to talk to you? Then you better pay me. Like, some Patreon is just this close to like legalized prostitution. Sarah says she totally make the historical deep dive content. I probably should. One day, if I ever get better technology, which I don't know when that will be, one day, if I ever get better technology, I think me and Mason are going to try our hands at a podcast, because we've been talking about it for a long time now, and we do have our vlog channel well, it's his channel, but it's our vlog. We do our Boys Love vlog over on his channel, and it's the most fun I have every single week. We're going to be doing a review of Cherry Maho on Sunday, but yeah, the most fun I have every single week. So I could totally see myself, taking the route that Ask Me About K-Pop does and doing a deep dive into K-pop artists and just really talking about it, or like doing a deep discography dive where we pick an album and we, parse it apart, put it back together, and then talk about it. I would love to do something like that. But yeah, it's something I had thought about, but also I work a full-time job and I'm not as tech savvy as you young people are. Sorry. Stephanie's good at that kind of stuff. I should make her do that. That should be like her job. I could pay her to do that stuff. We'll talk about it. But yeah, speaking of, I'm probably going to get off soon because I've now been broadcasting on Christmas for 3 hours. Not that I have anywhere to go or anything to do, but I'm sure a lot of you do. And so I probably need to get out of here pretty soon. But thank you again for joining me for Christmas. We still have a few more things to talk about and then I'll be getting off. I want to promote our vlog channel only because we did a Boys Love award for 2020 where we had categories and we picked our favorite people in different categories. So if you watch Boys Love shows, especially Boys Love shows out of Thailand, I highly recommend going to BL_KIKI, which is BL Kiki, and you can watch our Boys Love Awards. Thank you, Sasha, for supporting us, by the way. I have not had a chance to watch your name engraved herein. That was something I was going to do today, but then I got lazy. But I have been on Twitter seeing everybody's reactions, and my heart is in my ass because apparently it is a tragic bury your gaze type of ending, and I hate that. Yeah, it's a fan of all the ones you guys made. Oh, thank you. Appreciate it. But yeah, I am heartbroken. I'm heartbroken that it's going to be a sad ending because everyone who's watched it has said it is a beautiful movie. It is shot very well. It is just very cinematic because it's a actual like big screen release, but that the ending is just sad days. So we'll see what happens. But we're doing Cherry Maho this weekend. So Cherry Magic is what it is. And Cherry Magic has 14 episodes. 2 of them are special episodes, and we can't wait to talk about it. Okay. The elephant in the room. The thing that I have not talked about yet that I was going to talk about the day it happened, but then like I didn't talk about it. But somebody brought up the question, and it's the reason why I have to talk about it now. Somebody asked me what I thought about B.I. coming out with a solo. And I don't hate B.I. I feel like B.I. was stupid to let a person like Han So-hee catch him up in some bullshit. But that was before he probably knew who she was. Like, I'm certain that once she turned in top, everyone at YG quit fucking with her. But it still sucks that like he's on text messages buying weed. Like, boy, don't leave a written record. Don't leave a digital trail. Anyway, I digress. So, B.I. coming back to music, I'm fine with that. I think he deserves a chance. I'd love to see him shine. I'd love to see him make YG eat his words. So I have no problem with him coming back. But someone whose career might be over soon is Ilhoon from BTOB. Ilhoon. Oh my God. Daddy, let me talk to you real quick. Son, let me talk to you real quick. What? $90,000 worth of weed? Is your weed laced with gold flakes? Does your weed come in commemorative silver platters? Are you paying for someone to roll your weed while they're butt naked grinding to Mome? $90,000? Oh my God. 90 and digital currency? Oh my God. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, back in July apparently, Ilhoon got brought up on charges for marijuana possession / consumption / purchasing. And the news only came out a couple of weeks ago. But the news is stunning. So it's Ilhoon from BTOB, also known as our favorite guest rapper from Piana's Cause I'm a God Girl. Ilhoon is in the military currently, I believe. I don't think he's at the military yet. Over the course of several years, I think they said like 4 to 5 years, he has been consistently purchasing and using marijuana. But he hasn't been giving cash to people for his marijuana because he was trying to be smart, outthink the law. Instead, he was buying marijuana using Bitcoin. Now, let me just say this. The $90,000 might be a little bit inflated because Bitcoin 5 years ago is worth way more than Bitcoin, or is worth way more than the Bitcoin you're sending today. So like if somebody asked you for $5 worth of Bitcoin 5 years ago, that $5 has extremely increased in value today, right? But $90,000 worth of weed. That's 2 years of a lot of middle class people's salaries. Over the course of 5 years, that is a tremendous amount of money. Like, you must be hiring somebody who is hand cultivating their weed. Like, they must be there, like, you know, oh, sunshine, here's a little water. Such a good girl. Like, they must be hand crafting. It must be artisanal weed. It must be artisanal. Because what? So he's caught. He's not kind of caught. He's super caught. He's extremely caught. He's hair follicle caught. So it's not a if, it's a when he goes to jail for this stuff. But when the news hit Korea, ooh, the netizens, it is over. It's done. Take it off the grill, daddy. It's done. It's done. It's done. There's no coming back from that. It's done. I remember hearing the news and thinking, okay, so when Han So he gonna reactivate her Instagram, because this sounds like this is something that she did. Now I get that Il-hoon was doing it through Bitcoin because he's like, hey, I can send Bitcoin to people and I don't have to earmark what it's for, and it's a way for me not to be giving cash to people on the sly and getting caught possessing money to buy weed or whatever. But it would have been so much smarter in terms of a paper trail for you to have been just taking out like $20 here and there and handing it to somebody instead of using Bitcoin, because of course they opened your Bitcoin account or whatever and saw all these transactions to this same guy who probably was the guy who got arrested for selling dope and gave them your name, and now they know exactly how much money you spent over the last 4 to 5 years buying weed of the people that they know you bought weed from. And they're probably going to find all your other dealers as well by going ahead and tracking your online currency transactions. Whereas if you would just stop by the ATM every once in a while and spend money, you could easily say, I'm a K-pop idol. I go get cash because sometimes I buy clothes at the mall, or I buy shit off people that I think is cool, and I rock it in videos, or I rock it at the airport. Like my Cordies give me stuff, but I also buy my own shit. Or you could even just say, like, I got cash out because I went to a really nice restaurant and I wanted to be able to, pay my bill because I'm an idol and I go to nice places. You could logic out ATM transactions so easily. Like, you could so easily be like, oh, I had to get out, $200 because we went out to this bar and I wanted to spend money on the girls. We went out to a host club. That's not illegal. You could absolutely say that's what happened, and there wouldn't be no ties. And even if your hair follicle test came back positive, you could be like, yeah, I smoked weed one time and then I never did it again. And I've been in the military this whole time. I've been clean. But once they tie your Bitcoin account to years worth of transactions, your ass is cooked. It's done, daddy. It's over. It's over. And it's just so upsetting. It's so upsetting because I like Il-hoon. I'm not a big BTOB fan, but every time I think of Roll Deep, I think of him. And I really liked him in Roll Deep. Also, there's a show called Until We Meet Again with an actor named Boone who looks like Il-hoon. So, I also like Il-hoon's face and his body. And I just hate that he's totally fucked over his career. Oh, man. Poor BTOB. Poor BTOB. But poor Il-hoon, it's over for you. It really is over for you. $90,000. I mean, he probably got to us. Yes, they did just have a comeback, but he wasn't part of the comeback because he's in the military. To you and me. Oh, also, when he initially got arrested, he didn't tell his record label. That's the other thing that fucking cooked his goose. He got arrested or accused or charged or whatever the fuck happened back in July. His record company didn't find out till this month. They had no knowledge. Now, on the one hand, that's really good for Cube. It's actually super great for Cube that they never knew that this was happening, because they could be like, this had nothing to do with us. We were not the hookup. We didn't give him the money to do this, other than just paying him as an employee. This has nothing to do with us. We are clean. That is him. Lock him up. So they're able to completely wash their hands of the situation. It also makes it really easy to protect BTOB as a group, because they could easily say, all the members of BTOB live in separate places, because they do. The BTOB guys don't live in the dorm together. They haven't lived in the dorm together for a while now. So they're all grown men. They all live in different residences. We keep an eye on their professional obligations, but what they do in their private time has nothing to do with us. And this was private transactions. The record company will not be representing him and paying for his legal defense because it has nothing the fuck to do with us. Hands washed. And if any label needed to do that, Cube is the label that needed to do that, because Cube has been accused of basically facilitating solicitation. Therefore, this is not good, because I think everybody who's second gen biased remembers Gina and how one of the managers at Cube basically pimped her out while she was on the label. So Cube does not need to be affiliated with providing drug resources for idols. Elkie from CLC has terminated her contract due to mistreatment and not paying. Didn't hear that. That must be new news. Like, super new news. Sorry. My lips are dry, and my lips are peeling. I can feel little pieces of peel trying to get in my mouth, and it's gross. I hate it. Anyway, had not heard that. But yeah, the Gina thing, they ruined Gina. Gina can't ever come back to Korea. Gina can't ever come back to Korea because they ruined her. Basically, the way that they did it, and it sucks that they did it like this. Oh, you're welcome, Sasha. What they did is the manager's like, hey, Gina, I have a friend. He's a nice guy. He makes some decent money, but he saw your video and he thinks you are so beautiful. Would you mind going on a date with him? Here's his picture. Here's his number. And, just go ahead and give him a shout out, and he'll pay for the meal. You just have to meet him, and if you guys hit it off, maybe you could do a little something. I'll make sure that I can protect you and make sure that the paparazzi don't see you guys going together. And Gina was probably like, oh, you're so nice, thank you so much, this is great. I'm not really doing anything right now in terms of scheduling, so I actually have the time to kind of get into a little relationship. Also, don't forget that Gina, I think, was from, Canada or the US, so she didn't grow up in Korea, I think she grew up in an English-speaking, English culture type of thing. So anyway, goes on the date with this guy, they hit it off, she pays for another date, and they decide to get intimate. After they've been intimate a couple of times and the guy's bought her a few nice things, he starts to become distant and not able to get on the phone, and they mutually agree to break up. Manager's like, oh man, I really hate to hear that happened, but I'm really glad that you're single right now because I have another friend who really, really likes you. And I told him that the minute you were free, I was going to pass his number on to you so you guys could get together. And this guy, he is way more handsome than the other guy. I think you'll really, really like him. And so this happens a couple of times. Then by the next time, it's like, listen, I think you know what it is. I got a bunch of wealthy friends who are willing to pay to wine and dine and romance a really beautiful, famous woman. Your career's not really doing anything right now. Go ahead and get this money, and I'll get my finder's fee. And yeah, basically pimped Gina out because she didn't realize what they were doing the first time. And it sucks because when she got found out, nobody paid for that but her. No one's reputation was ruined but her. We still listen to Cube groups. We still buy Pentagon albums. We still buy CLC albums. We still buy G-Friend albums. We still buy B2B albums. Cube still gets supported, even though they let one of their managers pimp out one of their artists. And they knew it was happening. They knew it was happening. And this happened before Cube was bought by China, because a Chinese company came in and bought Cube. And Sasha, thank you. I'm sorry you were having a lonely Christmas. I'm glad I could be here for you. But yeah, it is just... Sorry, you're right. G-Idol, not G-Friend. I don't know why I said G-Friend. Sorry about that, girls. Not you. G-Idol. But we still buy Cube albums. We still buy Cube products. And so... Cube ain't been punished. But yeah, Ilhoon out here, $90,000 worth of weed. Didn't even tell the record label, even though he's in the military. And now, here we are. Totally caught. Career in ruins. I wouldn't be surprised if we find out that, Cube has canceled his contract because, we can't do nothing for you anymore. It's over with. So let's see here. We're going to go to Twitter to hear what's going on with Elkie. What? These monoliths are getting on my nerves. So apparently, there was like a monolith found in like a national park somewhere out in the world, whatever the fuck happened. And then there was another one found in Europe, and now somebody found a gingerbread monolith in San Francisco. Get out of here. Nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. Somebody said, whatever happened to the Beast guy that was in Troublemaker? Oh, he just had a single come out last week. It was cute. I liked it. I always liked Hyunsung. I thought Hyunsung was super talented. I bought his home mini album, his solo mini album, and yeah, Cube did him dirty as well, because Cube made it seem like he was the reason why Beast was not having a good time, and they were acting like they were going to throw him. Well, okay, what they did is they made it seem like Hyunsung didn't want to promote with Beast, and they made him seem like a bad guy, right? So then after that happens, Beast or Hyunsung is taken out of Beast, but then Beast leaves Cube. So Beast leaves Cube, and of course Cube is like, well, you can leave, but that name stays home. That name belongs to me. It's got my daddy's blood on it. If you know where that comes from, you're a pro. Because that was actually a movie quote. But anyway, they leave, become Highlight. Then Cube makes the announcement that Hyunsung plus like 2 or 3 other guys is going to be the new Beast, which Hyunsung's like, you got me fucked up. I never said that was going to happen. Why are you doing this to me? I'm still signed to Cube, but you've made me the reason why Beast broke up. You made me the scapegoat for them leaving the label. You're making the fans of Beast hate me because they think I'm going to come out with a Beast 2.0. And yeah, like, he couldn't do anything right. Before he left for the military, the public just couldn't stand him. He even did that dance show that Taemin was on, and he did like that dance or whatever, and people are like, oh, you're making fun of the Highlight choreography. That was just the Millie Rock. That's what everybody was doing at the time. He wasn't making fun of their choreography. It's like doing the shoot dance and saying you're making fun of Pentagon. It's just the dance. Fuck out of here. So anyway, he went to the military, which was great for him, because when he came out of the military, netizens had changed their mind about him and decided he was a good boy, because one of the members of Highlight got caught up in the golden phone scandal. So people stopped being Highlight fans and started being Hyunsung fans. So Hyunsung did a song last week, which it's kind of like not necessarily ballady, but it's definitely like a winter, slow, kind of mopey song. So, listen to it if you want to, but you don't have to. You're not missing too much. But that's what happened to Hyunsung. Thank you for asking. All right. So apparently, I don't have K-pop trending on my thing. Like, I guess it's not something that I follow, because I'm not seeing this tag for Elkie. But again, I have so many different things that come up on my recommends or like my explore page. So, OMG, what happened to Hyuna? Oh yeah. Well, everybody knows what happened to Hyuna. Apparently, Hyuna had another episode with her heart anxiety condition. I can't remember if it's a heart condition or if it's an anxiety condition. It's a neurological condition that she has. Anyway, she had an attack of that and couldn't do her promotion. So she is going to come out, but I think that they pushed back her comeback to accommodate her recovery. So she'll be back soon. I'm not going to look at I will look up Soompi, because I refuse to look at a Korea Boo anything. Fuck out of here. Kiss my ass. Korea Boo sucks. All K-pop sucks. I do not read their albums. I refuse to read their albums. They can suck it. I'm looking to see if there is an article on Soompi. Nope. So apparently whatever's going on, it hasn't made its way to Soompi, because Soompi does not have an article about it, which is surprising. It smells like barbecue in the air. That's really nice. So Does anyone else have an article? I just want not to read an all K-pop or a Korea Boo article. I can go for anybody else. It can't be them. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you follow Elkie on Twitter, the threads are just they're hard to read. They're hard to read. I can't find it. I can't find it. I would love to read an article about it, but the only alternative I have right now is something about Korea Boo, and I just refuse. Fuck out of here. I'm not gonna do it. It probably didn't make big news yet, but usually an artist terminating their contract makes the news somehow. Like even like what's her name? Cess. What's that girl's name that does all stuff on Twitter? Cess something or other. Let me check to see if it's on Not Netison Buzz. Because usually Not Netison Buzz does stuff too. Nope, it hasn't made it to Not Netison Buzz either, which is surprising. Oh, but there are a couple of things we can talk about here. Cube releases an apology for Ilhoon scandal. Uh, and everybody's like, it's not your fault. It's his fault. He needs to quit doing drugs. Save B2B. That's the reaction that they have. Oh, it's on Weeboo. Weeaboo. Pfft, won't be going there. Sorry. I can't have the State Department looking at me like that. Oh, update on a long-standing case. Guhara, the court finally decided about her estate, and 60% of Guhara's remaining estate will go to her father, and 40% of her remaining estate will go to her mother. Guhara's mother basically gave up on her when she was a child. Did not raise her, didn't even support her in her idol years. Hadn't spoken to her daughter in years. And upon her daughter's death, showed up at the funeral talking about, it's me, I'm the mom. Take a picture with me. I need a selfie for my friends back home. And 60-40. That's the divide. And that's Korean law. Korean law states that if you die without a spouse, without children, then your estate goes to your parents. And if your parents are divorced, it's supposed to be an even split, regardless of whatever relationship you have with your parents. And recently, a law was introduced to the Blue House to change that so that parents that have not been involved with their children will not be able to profit off of the deaths of their children. However, I don't think that it was finalized at the time of these proceedings and can't be enacted retroactively. So, yeah, it's not something that's going to affect Guhara's estate currently. But, and I hate to say this, Sully and Guhara are not the only young women or young idols that we're going to lose. The system hasn't changed. The way K-pop does business hasn't changed. And there are going to be more and more beautiful young people who are going to take their lives. It's just a fact. It's not me being morbid. It's not me wishing bad on them. It's just the way it is. And it doesn't even have anything to do with K-pop necessarily. Like, K-pop is another external pressure on young people, but suicide rates in Korea have always been extremely high for what's considered a first world nation. And so as long as mental health and, therapy and things like that aren't being addressed, you're constantly going to see these kinds of stories over and over again. You may not see as many at a time as we did. Like, when Sully and Guhara passed away within like a month of each other, that was brutal. But it's gonna happen again. And the only thing that is a positive is that if you have another young person who could have used the aid of their family in their time of need, and that family wasn't there for them, they won't be able to profit off of their death. That's really the only thing that this is good for, is that it can't go down like this in the future. And you can actually be a family member going to court with this video evidence of your idol talking about, yes, through How to Act, that with them talking about how I was raised by my grandparents, or my parents were never there, or I didn't see them very often. And you can use that as evidence that that parent isn't entitled to their estate. You can use text messages and video and things like that to prove that there was a strained relationship there, rather than just going on the word of somebody who's basically robbing from the dead. South Korea is very filial. So the law would be like that because they believe like the family is the number one unit. It doesn't work like that in the US a lot of the time. If you die intestate, which I guess means that you don't have a will and you don't have like good paperwork and stuff. Sometimes like it could be an issue of finding who the next of kin is, especially if like the parents die and you don't have any kids. It can be weird determining who gets the money then. But like a lot of times, if a young person in America who's rather famous passes away and they have parents but they don't have children, they don't have a wife or whatever, usually the money does go to the parents, but the parents have the option of using custodial history to determine who is eligible for the estate. So let's say that you are XXXTentacion, and you pass away and you didn't have any children prior to your death, and there's a paternity case outstanding. And if that paternity case doesn't show that to be your child and you had no children, your money should go to your parents because you left the world without a will. And your parents are your next of kin because you didn't have a spouse and you didn't have a child. Well, in that case, if you were raised by your mother and your father either gave up his parental rights, or if there's evidence showing that child support was ordered and they never paid child support, and you did not have close ties with your father, then your mother has a really good case for going to court to show that there was an issue with abandonment, and that because this person abandoned the deceased during their lifetime, they're also abandoning their claim to the estate. So those are options that could reasonably happen. It doesn't mean it will happen, but it could reasonably happen. So it is a little bit different in the United States. It's a little bit different. Yeah, Nevison Buzz doesn't have anything about it either. Oh well. I wish Elkie the best. I mean, as far as I'm concerned. Okay, so Meg just sent me something in Korean. Meg! I will try to read. Okay, so it's a string of tweets that has it translated. Because I'm like, I can't read this. This is in Hangul. You're just trying to trip me up, Meg. Okay, so it says, Elkie's legal letter to Cube for contract termination. Mistreatments are stated in the legal letter. So Elkie has not terminated her contract. She has sent a letter to Cube asking to have her contract terminated. So, to Cube Entertainment, the law firm is under the commission of Miss Chong Tin Yan. Oh, is she Chinese? Because if she's Chinese, it doesn't matter what happens in Korea. Well, no, never mind. I was going to say it doesn't matter what happens in Korea because she can go to China and make her money. The problem is Korea, Cube in Korea has a majority Chinese stockholder, so she can't even go to China with that. Ooh. If if her contract is terminated and she leaves on bad terms with this Chinese conglomerate that owns the majority stake in Cube, there is a good chance her career is actually going to be over, because they'll probably blacklist her from appearing on Chinese television as well. We'll see what happens. Points the lawyer to issue you this letter about the matters of terminating the exclusive contract between Ms. Chong and your company as per followings. According to Ms. Chong's statement and provided materials, it is shown that Ms. Chong signed the exclusive contract with your company in February 2016. Really? I thought that CLC had been around longer than 3 or 4 years. I really did. Well, it's close to 5 years. It'll be 5 years next year. Okay, that makes sense. It was stated that your company would be the exclusive agency to manage Ms. Chong's entertainment activities. After the contract was signed, Ms. Chong joined the girl group CLC, actively fulfilled the responsibilities according to the contract, obeyed your company's arrangements, and devoted herself in trainings for acting talents. However, Ms. Chong claimed your company violated multiple terms and conditions when fulfilling the contract, mainly as per below. During the contract period, all Ms. Chong's entertainment incomes were collected by your company first. However, your company has never revealed the actual details of the incomes to Ms. Chong. Since signing the contract, Ms. Chong actively fulfilled her contract obligations and attended different entertainment schedules arranged by your company. However, apart from paying for the copyright income to Ms. Chong, your company did not pay Ms. Chong her acting income, according to the Article 6.4 on the contract. This means ILCU has never paid for her role in The Rich Son. This was a note that the thread author made. 3. Due to your company's management and structural changes, your company clearly informed CLC members that you would no longer support CLC's group development in February of 2020. Since then, your company also did not provide reasonable planning for Ms. Chong's entertainment business's position and development path with due diligence. Your company used actual actions to show that you would no longer fulfill the contract. Based on the above situation, your company's actions are already equal to violation of the contract and actually limiting Ms. Chong's development in the entertainment business. So is he saying that they informally disbanded CLC back in February? Because didn't they have a song that came out during quarantine? Is my memory bad? Tell me. Just let me know. Is my memory bad? Didn't they have a song that came out during quarantine? I don't keep up with CLC like that. And so, that's why I say my memory might be shitty. But according to her lawyer, it says that Q basically told them that they weren't going to promote CLC after February 2020. Her lawyer clearly said, due to your company's management and structural changes, your company clearly informed CLC members that you would no longer support CLC's group development in February 2020. Okay, there you go. Helicopter. So, or maybe they just told them in February that, we have one more comeback for you guys and then it's over. Maybe that's what they said. Maybe in February they said, this you're recording right now, this is it. We're not going to do no more. If this doesn't hit, it's over. Based on the above situation, your company's actions are already equal to violation of the contract and actually limiting Ms. Chong's development in the entertainment business. To conclude above, I, the lawyer, accepted Ms. Chong's commission and issued this letter on her behalf. From the day your company received this letter, the exclusive contract is terminated between your company and Ms. Chong. Within 15 days of your company receiving this letter, please return by letter of Ms. Chong's income details during the contract period and contact to conduct the settlement. If your company refuses to follow as per letter's content, my side will use all legal means to protect our rights. I will tell you this, because we've talked about this before. We've done K-pop finance 101 in this house before. All my babies should be informed. So, I don't think that CLC has made back their money. Yeah, they had a win with red dress. Red lipstick, red dress. No. What's the song? I hate you. I like me. Whatever that song is. What is that song? What is the name of that song? That song had a win on one of the not popular shows. No. Thank you. That song. Apparently that song I think that song had a win on the show. I think that's the one that they had the win on. But anyway, that song had a win. But I think that's their only win. I think that might be their only win. Because I don't think Black Dress had a win. Anyway, let's keep going. CLC probably has not made back their training debt, and more than likely has not paid back the debt for their promotions and for their album releases. And because of that, there's a good chance that when her lawyer gets their accounting, they're not going to get anything. Like, she hired an attorney just to get her free. Just to like put pressure on Cube to let her go without trying to pin a bunch of money on her. Like, asking for the accounting is a move that the attorney is making so that if they have to go to court and Cube's like, well, she owes us $200,000 on not paid back production costs. She could be like, well, according to the accounting, this is what's going on, and so that's the reason why I don't owe you that money. So I don't even think she's looking to be paid by Cube. I think she's just looking to put the pressure on Cube to let her go without much fuss. Which, I mean, we'll see how that works out for you, girl. I hope it does. But yeah, Cube is not... CLC... I will put it this way. Mason and I have very brutal K-pop opinions. And we talk about our K-pop opinions whenever we're by ourselves. And we said that CLC should have disbanded 2 years ago. Maybe 3 years ago. Because CLC never really found their niche. According to us. I mean, their fans probably love them, and their fans are probably like devastated and this is horrible and I'm sorry for you guys. I'm not trying to minimize your suffering or make it seem like you're not entitled to love your faves. I'm just saying, from a point of view of somebody who's been watching K-pop now for at least the last 8 years, CLC, without Cube even saying it, has always been the lowest priority for Cube. And it made no sense to tie these girls to a group that really wasn't doing anything for them. That really wasn't going to make anything happen for them. And, you know, every time they came back in a new reincarnation. And I don't know, as somebody who's followed groups for a long time, I kind of want to be able to rely on my group. You know, it's the same thing we were saying earlier about BTS. Like, you don't want them to stay in the same place. You do want growth. But you kind of want to be like, that's that group's sound. And CLC never had that. They never had their sound. So, I'm not surprised that they would disband. But I think they drug it on far too long. I knew when (G)I-DLE premiered that it was over for CLC. Because for a long time, CLC was the only girl group on Cube. Because for a minute had disbanded, and then Hyuna was gone. There was no Gina. I think for a minute there, CLC was the only girl group on Cube. Because Cube had Pentagon, they had BTOB, but I don't think they had any other girl group. But when (G)I-DLE came out and just hit it, it was like, this is it. This is the death knell for CLC. Y'all need to go ahead and go home. But instead they tried to, you know, put out only digital tracks and limited production runs of physicals and shit like that. They did all these things, and it was like, but why? When you don't intend to really promote these girls, you don't intend to really support these girls, why do you keep dangling this carrot in front of their fans? So, to me and to others, it was time to call CLC a wrap before (G)I-DLE premiered. But, you know, they still insisted that CLC was a viable enterprise and that it was a thing that they were still planning on supporting. But yeah, not surprised. This should have happened a long time ago. And I just hope that with the legal proceedings, it doesn't cause the Chinese conglomerate that owns CLC or Cube to be vindictive and to find ways to stymie Elke's career after she leaves the group. That's what I'm hoping. That's what I hope for her. Gross. Hate to see it. Hate to see it. I'm trying to think, is there anything else on Twitter that is K-pop adjacent that we need to be looking at? Nothing really. I don't see anything else. Ugh, Iggy Azalea. I'm so sorry, but you should have known better. Iggy Azalea calls out Playboi Carti for not spending Christmas with their son and accuses him of cheating through her pregnancy. I can believe it. I can believe it. I mean, he's a child, and you can't expect a child to act like a man. Sorry. Michael Alig died. You guys won't know who Michael Alig is unless you were like really deep into like gay cultural history. And even then, like not deep like you know the history since like the 1800s. I'm talking about like if you know niche history about gay culture, because there was a while there where I used to be kind of in the scene. Well, not in the scene. That's a bad way to put it. I had a best friend who came out when we graduated high school, and in my attempt to be the best ally that I could be, I started working at a gay bar and helping volunteer at events for the local Lambda Community Center in the city we were in. And I learned a lot about gay culture in that time. And in that time, there was a lot of talk about the club kid scene in New York in the late 80s, early 90s, because RuPaul, if you don't know who RuPaul is, I'm sorry, I can't help you, because this is the base thing you need to know. RuPaul was one of the club kids. RuPaul is known famously as like the mother of all drag queens, but there were a lot of drag queens before RuPaul. There have been a lot of drag queens after RuPaul. But what RuPaul did is that RuPaul created a persona that became socially acceptable for mainstream America to adopt as their example of drag. But before RuPaul was Supermodel Work RuPaul, RuPaul was a club kid, and RuPaul was like a crazy club kid. Like RuPaul has always been super tall, super slim, super beautiful. Like RuPaul's face is just gorgeous. But RuPaul used to go out in like skirts and 2 strips of tape over his nipples because he identifies as a man. 2 strips of tape over his nipples and like half of his head shaved and half of his makeup done. And that was a thing that club kids did. If you look up New York club kids scene culture, it was crazy. It wasn't the beautiful, manicured, highly produced drag you see on RuPaul's Drag Race. It was akin to performance art in terms of like people wearing ace bandages and then makeup over the ace bandages and shaving off different patches of hair and, you know, getting different like clothing from designers that's like impossible to wear, but you would wear it to make a statement, and you know, performing just weird odd acts in the club and being the most outrageous person in the club. And by being the most outrageous person in a club filled with personalities, you made normal everyday people want to go to that club because that club would get a buzz and be considered hot because the club kids hang out there. And Michael Alig was a club promoter during that time. And he was one of those people that if like somebody was opening a brand new nightclub and they wanted to get people to show up, they would hire Michael Alig to promote a party there and invite his friends and have some crazy stunt happen. And he would get paid in like cocaine, cash, access, whatever it was he was looking for. He would get paid in that in order to promote these parties. Well, there was this drug dealer who used to hang out at the parties. His name was Angel. Now, he wasn't like your hardcore, I carry a gun and your stereotypical drug dealer, what you think of when you think of 90s, like on TV drug dealers. He wasn't pushing big weight and kingpinning. He was like just a guy who had a little weed, had a little ecstasy, had a little cocaine on him. You know, he had a little bit of what you needed to get the party started, but he wasn't the guy who had the Colombian connect. He was getting his drugs from somebody else and then reselling them in the club scene. And I guess Angel and Michael had a friendship enough for him to be allowed to hang out with Michael and the rest of the club kids, but not so much that he was considered a part of their group. He was considered more of like a resource procurement manager. Like he was the guy to call if you needed fun stuff for a fun time, but he wasn't actually one of the kids. And so I'm not sure the specific details because it's been a while since I looked up the murder. But one night, I guess, Michael and Angel got into an argument, and Michael killed Angel. And after killing Angel, dissected Angel in his apartment and threw his remains into the East River. And the murder itself probably wouldn't have been super brutal on its own if it wasn't for not only the dismemberment of Angel, but then the fact that Michael spent time after the murder telling people that he had committed this murder. Like just straight up letting people know, like, hey, I killed Angel because he was a wannabe and I was tired of his face. Like being a bitch about it. And at first people were like, oh, Michael, you tell the funniest stories. But then the news comes out that like Angel's family is looking for him because he's been missing. And somebody in his circle of friends was like, hey, like, this is real. Like, this is really, he's not just bullshitting us. He actually killed somebody. And so I think one of his club friends contacted the police, like, listen, I heard this wild ass story. I'm just letting you know, you might want to look over in that direction. Don't tell him I said so, but look over there. And the police end up getting all of the story together. They found parts of Angel, I believe, and they were able to create a case. And Michael did 17 years in prison, which 17 years for murdering somebody and then disrespecting their body and making fun of them after their death is just not enough time. It's not enough time. And they actually made a movie about this whole affair. It's a movie called Party Monster. It stars Macaulay Culkin. So you could definitely look that up if you want to see the movie based on that set of circumstances. I think Wilmer Valderrama plays Angel and Macaulay Culkin plays Michael Alig. So it's A-list names here. The other guy, Danny, I can't remember his name now. No, Seth Green. I think Seth Green is in that movie as well. Anyway, Michael Alig got out of prison, and when he got out of prison, he was like on the scene and people were interviewing him, and he talked about his days as a club kid promoter, and he talked about the murder and just, it was like very flippant about it. And in addition to that, kind of his outrage for outrage's sake personality was still a thing. So a prime example of that, there is a young man who I think his name is Desmond, and he is a young man who does drag. And I say young man, but young man is not the word. A boy. He is a boy who does drag. And he's like elementary school, early middle school age. And his mother takes him to pride events and takes him to nightclubs and allows him to perform drag. Now, I want to say this very, very clearly because this is verging into some very sensitive territory about parenting and appropriate behavior and appropriate context and things like that. And I just want to say, I am not at all making a judgment on whether or not LGBTQIA plus spaces are appropriate for children, because I absolutely believe there are appropriate spaces for children because children have queer parents, children have queer families, and so if they have these things in their life, you can't say that the space itself is inappropriate. But the young child, he goes by the name, I guess Desmond is Amazing, I think is what his drag name is. And he gets taken to nightclubs where people are drinking and dancing, and he's a minor, like a legit minor, and is performing at nightclubs at night instead of going to bed to get ready to go to school the next day. And his mother parades him around and has him do interviews and all this other stuff to draw a lot of media attention to him, even though, again, this is a child, and as a parent of a child, I can tell you children need stability. They need regular schedules. They do not need to be thrown in everybody's faces. And I feel that same way about child entertainers. in general, not just a young man who enjoys drag. I'm talking about children on the Disney Channel. I'm talking about children who make movies. I'm talking about children entertainers. Children need to be allowed to be children. They need to be allowed to have routine and regulation and be allowed to live their lives. And dragging them out the bed to go do a 10, 11, 12 o'clock showing at a bar, nightclub is just not the thing. It's not the thing. And these are clubs where people are drinking and smoking and maybe doing stuff in the back room. Anyway, Desmond's mother let him do an interview with Michael a few years ago, and in the background of the interview was a painting of a child jumping rope and the words Rohypnol written across the painting. And if you don't know, Rohypnol is a date rape drug. And there's a child jumping rope and the name of a date rape drug on the painting behind where these men are having an inappropriate conversation with a child. And Michael died of a heroin overdose on Christmas or Christmas Eve. Not exactly sure when. Probably Christmas Eve. Died of a heroin overdose. So the same drugging and outrageous life he was living when he was a club kid, absolutely was living it after he got out of prison. And to all that I say, rotten hell. Rotten hell. You didn't care about Angel's humanity or the feelings of his family and the people who actually gave a fuck about Angel. You didn't care about it because you're living your own little bubble. You spent your second opportunity at freedom, at a new life, basically not learning a fucking thing, not maturing at all, not trying to make amends for the great wrong that you inflicted upon Angel's family. Instead, you spent that time being an asshole and being outrageous and being the talk of the town, even though you're in your 50s and you're too fucking old for that bullshit. And so you weren't willing to learn the lesson when they locked your ass up in prison. You didn't learn your lesson when they gave you a second chance at being a decent human being. And everything that's happened in that time, if life was rough and heroin was your only escape, I don't feel sorry for you because you could have been a better person and you chose otherwise. So, suck it. Suck Satan's dick. And with that positive piece of Christian folklore, I guess I live stream. But thank you guys for joining me. I feel like I'm not the only person who was spending Christmas alone. And I'm spending Christmas completely alone. Like, I'm not visiting my mom because she's working today. I'm not visiting my brother and his girlfriend because they've got 3 little kids and 2 of them attend public school. So it's too big of a COVID risk to go over there. And my daughter is with her dad for Christmas, so I'm not celebrating it with Stephanie. So yeah, I am just as alone as you guys are on Christmas, but it does make it a little bit nicer to be able to spend Christmas with our virtual friends. So thank you, Sasha. Thank you, Tarian. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Hansueño. Thank you to anyone who's M Centuries. Thank you to Lixbricks. Thank you to Meg. Thank you to Jojo, Jordan Young, anybody who's watching whose name I forgot because I am old and I don't know all the names. But thank you to everybody who's watching because you have made this Christmas much nicer for me. And I hope that I helped make this Christmas a little bit nicer for you. And thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Sarah. I cannot wait for Stephanie to come back so I can finally eat some of this food. So you guys have a not as lonely Christmas, hopefully, as you were having. And if you like Boys Love, watch Your Name Engraved Herein on Netflix. And Cherry Maho just ended. Watch Cherry Maho. But thank you guys. Thank you guys so much. And I will talk to you later. Bye.